but you have awesome stuff in Dropbox. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. There's great stuff. We both have great stuff.
Yeah.
We're good.
I mean, come on here.
Yeah.
Great, Alyssa.
Yeah, we got some great stuff.
Yeah. I have a new version of. Can I drop it in Discord? A new version.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Cool.
Yep. I've been working on it the last couple of minutes here. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I showed Alyssa the. I mean, it's 1,000 times better than the piece of junk I made, Alyssa. Thank you.
Well, it was a hasty first attempt. I must say that, but it's kind of.
I think even Larry's going to be impressed when he sees it.
Okay. I tweaked his pictures a little bit just to.
That's all right.
Yeah, I think it's okay because he's part of the show, so to speak. So that means that we can.
Yeah. So. Fun times.
I had to kind of. It's a little bit hasty to get all the logos in there, but they're all in there now. So yeah.
Awesome. I'll risk bringing it up on my computer at this point. Hey, Sparky, can you hear me? Before I see. Good. Let me switch scenes before I start messing around with uploading this.
Yeah.
Okay. Open original. Save image as.
There we go.
Good. This one's a JPEG. All right. Says this one's a JPEG. That's good. That's actually going to take up less space. So.
Yeah, I compressed it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
It's not that big.
Nice. Very cool.
I think it's 1080p in resolution.
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah. So I just used one of the earlier templates. So.
Well. Good to see you all. Good to see you, Fergie, Tino, Sparky, Jim, and Little Bones. Who will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early.
Yes, I love your background. Awesome.
Oh, thank you. That's actually one of my pieces for Inkwell.
Yeah, cool. Oh, yes.
It's one of the clipped ones.
When you see my Dynamaps, you will realize I have lots to learn.
I'm currently being reminded where I actually cannot find chat.
You go to Twitch.tv,
Yeah, hit the cog.
Zumba, and then you have the little cog wheel in chat. If you have chat on the right, if you go to the Twitch screen, then you should have chat on the right. There's a little cog wheel there. You have pop out chat, and then you can pop it out in a little window by itself. If you don't have chat, there should be a little arrow on the top right.
To open
where
it up to the right, yeah.
Yeah, because you might have hit chat earlier.
That's what I did. That's what I did. Look at that, you remote troubleshooting my computer for me, and you did turn it on and off again.
Nope. It's too late for that now, so yeah. Just have to, yeah, it works. Yeah. I just turned my on and off like 15 minutes ago, so hopefully it will.
Good to see you, Boschquill. All right. This is the Hump Show. There you go, Alyssa. You got your VIP badge there too, so you got your little diamond on your name there.
Well, thank you, darling. Thank you. I don't go anywhere without my diamonds.
That's all right, man. Thanks. We'll take it. We'll take that sub and we'll take that lurk, man. Thank you.
Yeah, and I have my I can switch like this to if need be. Yeah.
Good. I have those screens set up.
Yeah, I have that in that way we can, yeah, just in case.
Hey, Troy.
You might not need it, but it's good to have it just in case.
everyone's doing well here. So we hit stream 3 of 5 this week.
Yeah. It should be the easy one for you this week.
Well, think about it. Wednesday night wasn't too hard. I mean, because Larry did all the talking.
I was just gonna say that was the easiest we've had, but one of the most wonderful ladies we've had, and it was so wonderful just to hear all the fantastic stories.
I want to see Jay do a 24-hour.
Oh my gosh!
Just some people buy your breaks now and then, and keep one of the.
I think the longest we ever streamed was the second fundraiser. I think the one that we had Anna, Casey.
You must have
playing,
done like
and
8 hours at least.
Casey was there. Anna was remote. It wasn't. And it was the one with the Falcon, and the fight went until like 2:30, 3 in the morning.
Yeah, that was like 6 hours or something.
I think but from start to finish, I think it was 7 something. It was 7:20. I think it went.
But then you've done 2 streams in some days too, and then you ended up a lot of hours that way too.
Yeah, all multiple split up and all. Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay, Bones. If you don't have a voice, it's not a problem.
You can text chat.
Yeah. She's playing in the Mike Disney Crafter game tomorrow morning, which will be awesome.
You can use Thieves' Cant and just.
Yes. If she was a thief, unfortunately, she's a ranger cleric.
Oh damn.
Yeah, it's cool character. So, but definitely. And now I hear background sound. Where's that coming from? I'll show it at the beginning, at the end, because I'm gonna get this. I'll get it out to everyone. Lethal.
Yeah, no problem.
Lethal dose of cough drops. Awesome.
Yep, I always have cough drops when we do streams.
Yeah, dries bad.
And water, otherwise I would be screwed down.
So I'm the only one that's sitting here with whiskey.
Yeah.
That's an option.
Good to see you. Good morning there from Japan.
That's definitely an option. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for me, not with me having to get up super early tomorrow, get all this equipment downstairs, because we start, and everyone logs in at 8:30 Eastern tomorrow morning. So
it's not car bomb evening for you.
No car bombs. One car bomb a year at most, and that was in Philly. Yeah, it was at the nice party we had at PAX Unplugged.
Yep.
Boom. That was a blast. I shouldn't hit that during the. Yeah, honey's good too. Troy's right. Yeah, it is early. It is early, Bones, but you are a trooper, which is awesome. Frog Guy, I'm showing the troll alert. Frog Guy really stepped up tonight. Two $50 gift certificate giveaways tonight. That's awesome. Yep, I'll start that up shortly. Look at that. It's still selling some whiskey. Yes.
Look, one of us is going to be the lush out of the chat and the mouse, and I will fall on that sword. I am magnanimously.
I'm really looking forward to this. It feels like, but the December show we had, that was so much fun. We had
that was great.
Oasis.
That was great. Great hosts, great guests actually. They're fantastic.
Yeah, the host weren't too bad even. If I can say that. We can brag a little bit.
I think between the 3 hosts,
we kind of made up.
We made up almost a person.
Yeah, we were almost 1/3. Yeah. And now we have to live without a lot of special guests.
Yeah, that's what we should get a guest for next month. Next month, that will be Gary on.
Yes, I was I have a couple of
You can have a
ideas.
guest there too if there's someone there.
I was thinking we have someone there. We can ask him. Yeah,
Well, there's KP,
exactly. That's the name.
Who?
and he's got a very unique medium.
Who's going to be there?
KP.
Yeah.
His name is Kafir.
Oh, yeah.
Dave
he
found out
can't.
that his name.
Oh yeah, Alyssa, I'm going to tell that story right
Yes,
as we
you
come
did.
live.
Yeah, he
yeah,
found that out the
yeah.
hard way.
I learned, and so well. We did raid him with over 100 people the other night, right?
Yeah, so you come to
for
say
the Larry
yeah.
Elmore thing. We went in because I felt bad.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that would be awesome if you have to ask him if he can be on the fantasy mapping show.
I think he'd do
that
it.
would be. Yeah.
I
Oh
think
yeah. I
Yeah, if
really
he's
hope
not
so.
got anything going on, he'll do it.
Yeah.
He's
a great guy.
he's doing a special Greyhawk map for CarryCon.
Yeah. And I have Nathan Mankion is another one we should have for one show because what he's
Okay.
doing is kind of unique and awesome. So I'll ask him if he wants to come on, and then I
Hey,
guess we
Vancouver,
can
I
have
can
him,
see ya.
can have him next month. Yeah.
So I'll ask Kafir. I'll ping him right now.
Yeah, and ask him because he will be because he has a lot of stuff there at the show. So that is another good reason that he
Yeah.
would be a
Yeah,
fantastic
he'll be able
guest.
to bring some good stuff and make us look good.
Exactly. So that too, and he's an awesome person, and what he's doing is kind of unique and fantastic and really cartography related. So in many ways, he's a fantastic guest, and I think especially at the live show.
People love him. People
Yeah.
absolutely love him. He's one of those guys that just has charisma.
Yeah, he's just cool and awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll see if we can drag him on. I just invited him.
Perfect. Yeah. Nathan Mankian has a very kind of unique approach as well. So I think we definitely need to have him on, trying to get him on at least one show.
Do it. Yeah, just invite him. Drag him
Yep.
on.
Yep.
It'll be anarchy. It'll be a big party. So tonight, what's going on in 2022? Plans, and ask Alyssa and Anna anything. Within reason, of course.
Now, well, we could be unreasonable too.
Oh, man. I don't know if we should
Yeah,
open
you
up
can
that
ask
door.
me anything because if I don't like it, I'm just going to go, Anna, this one's yours.
Hey, Megan, thanks for coming on.
Yep.
Yeah,
can-
you know, we got to
Yeah.
limit my liability here, right? That's
Yeah.
what we want to do here. We'll come on
Yep.
live here. We can just babble a little bit here. Good evening, everyone. I'm J.K. Lorgazumba, and this is our 8th episode of the Fantasy Mapping Show. And
Yeah.
with me is the legends Alyssa Faden and Anna Meyer. Good evening. How y'all both doing?
Hello.
Hello, are we live?
Yes!
Yes,
We're live!
It's like,
Boing!
Yep, we're live.
We
Yep.
are live. So,
hey, actually, Happy New Year too, because our last
Yeah.
show was in December. So
That's true. Happy New Year, everyone.
the
Yep.
last show that broke all records with 32 giveaways, which
Yep.
I don't, people were still getting them this week. A couple of people had said that, that they just received them, which is fantastic. I'm
Oh,
so
good,
happy
good,
to
good.
see that.
Yep.
Everything had gone out here. But speaking of that, and I'm setting it up right now. Give me 10 seconds here. A very, very wonderful extra. Frog God doubled the size of the 2 gift certificates, so they're $50 a pop, and that's for that's for hard copies, PDFs, whatever you want in the Frog God store. So please take a look at that. As Frog God is a very, very wonderful partner. Sponsors the show. All right, I'm gonna tell a quick story. Is that okay about what happened? So I did not
Yeah,
know
go
Cave
ahead.
Geek Ark's name was Kafir. So I'm trying to get Larry Elmore on. It's 45 minutes before the show on Wednesday, and I'm panicked because Larry's not great with technology, and I get this Facebook message out of the blue from this Kafir person. I have no idea who it is, and he's like, "Hey, I need someone. Can you help me make a Greyhawk map?" I'm like, "Make a Greyhawk map? What the?" Susanna's map. I'm like, I thought it was a random person from Facebook. You know how you get them all the time if you have Messenger
Yep.
set up?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I know about Anna's maps. I said, you know about Anna's maps? How do you? I don't know who are you? And I said, do you have a Twitch handle? What's your name? And he puts Cave Geek Rock. I go, duh, I'm a dumbass. I was like, oh shit. I
Yeah,
felt
you-
really bad. Yeah. So yeah,
That's funny. Yep.
but there. But so he's going to do a custom Greyhawk map in his
Mhm.
style
Yep.
for Gary Con. So yeah, that's going to be awesome.
That will be a head turner. That will be something really special.
Yep.
Yes, because this stuff is so unique. And we had a rate of over 100 viewers into his show Wednesday night after Larry Elmore. So a lot of people got to see what he was all about. And he showed all of his Middle Earth, Dragonlance, Forgotten Realms maps and those styles that he had. So it was really cool. So it'd be nice if we could have him on at Gary Con during our show there,
Mhm.
which will be
Yep.
Friday evening. Hey, Fraley, good to see you. So it's a new year. Let's what is going on? Alyssa, Anna, who wants to start and just say roughly what?
Actually, just breaking news. Kafir says yes, he's down.
There you go.
Oh,
All right. So
good.
We've got technology.
there you go.
Now he's saving our show on at Gary
That's
Con, so
awesome.
fantastic. Yep.
Good. So he'll be there.
Yep.
As a special guest
Mhm.
for that episode 10 at Gary Con, Friday night, 4 p.m. Central Time. That's when it's scheduled, and there'll be 30 live guests, which is really cool. So.
Wow.
But I hope I can stream it. I'm going to attempt to, but if we can't, we'll record it. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the internet connection and stuff. If we can.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot though. I'll have 2
Yep.
cameras, so we'll give it a
Mhm.
shot. And if it's looks like crap, who cares, right? At least we did
Yep.
it, you know.
Then we can.
So, but what's going on in the world there? Listen, Anna, this is 2022, a brand new year. All exciting,
Yeah.
some exciting things.
Yeah.
So we wanted to have a show and just highlight what's going on 2022.
Well,
and you can ask
I'm
them anything.
knee deep in my 2022 Greyhawk Map Updates, so that will be a 5th preview released very, very soon. I'm experimenting with new borders and extended borders in a little bit because the big Great Kingdom causes a little bit of mayhem in my border situation there. So that's one of my latest experiments. And then I have a whole bunch of other stuff we will talk about later. But that's the kind of my big thing at the moment is to get that one out, so to speak, and done with.
Yeah, and it has to do with this. I mean, that hub monoland expansion.
Yeah,
right.
That was that, but that's mainly done. Now it's to all the edits and updates and changes and additions and people telling me, oh, you forgot this and that should be added. And you remember you have read that article in Dragon has this little thing popping up and stuff like that. So and the typos, there is a never ending stream of typos that I do. So I'm terrible apparently. Yeah.
So my other question to you, Anna, is: are you getting harangued yet by your Patreons that you are going to do custom map edits for yet?
If a couple, 2 people, I've set 5 slots, and then I have one that I've given away, and then I have 5 slots, and I have 2 of those slots are already spoken for. So it's starting to get there, so to speak. So
well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that there will probably be 5 people who wants to sign up for it. That will probably come online just after GaryCon is my plan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So Alyssa, 2022.
2022. Yeah, so I started the year actually really busy. One of those, I took on too much work type of things. I've got 27 maps like the one behind me for Inkwell Ideas. They're doing a geomorph Kickstarter. I think this month they invited a whole bunch of cartographers to kind of create some dungeon maps for them. Crypts, sewers, and what's the other one? Faden. Crypts, sewers, and caves. So I just got to the tail end of that project. Hell of a lot of fun. I've got the GaryCon map that I'm going to actually be doing.
Yes,
so different theme. So we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. I'm really looking forward to doing that. That's going to be the crunch one. Meanwhile, I'm still working on Gaslight London for Chaosium, which is going to change everything for me because I'm going to stop taking commissions this year. I'm going to work on things I want to work on. And working on the Gaslight London made me realize I really love trying to emulate old maps and researching like the old maps. And I'm just going to start going through big cities like New York and Cairo and Shanghai And I'm just going to start drawing them all from like 1920, 1925.
Yeah.
I'm going to start playing into my love of all things Call of Cthulhu. And
that is a great idea.
I'm going to start sliding more towards unofficial, unlicensed.
Yeah.
But, you know, if there's a campaign out there that has locations that need maps for it, I'm going to draw them. I'm going to draw my version of the maps in my style.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to start putting them out all of the time. I'll put them out probably through my Patreon, you know?
Yeah.
So one negative, the Gaslight London map is now not opening. It's not opening on my screen. It says,
but it's kind of cool. I saw you fall into my trap. You're doing big maps. Really big
I'm doing
maps.
big map. Anna, seriously? So this map is big. By your standards, it's not file size wise, but it is a different medium, right? But it is a big map, and it kind of like if I export this thing, into PDF, Adobe just chokes. Adobe just dies on me.
Right.
And I'm like, so what's going on? It's 80 inches across, Anna.
Yeah.
I told me, I went 80 inches.
Yeah, mine is 116. So meaning now you pass when you pass 100, you pass into the mega two big maps. You will make computers burn.
Honestly, they need it for a book and they need it for a poster. They don't need it for a barnhouse door. So I don't know why I picked that size.
Well, you can reduce it to half and then make sure the fonts are big enough, and that will be good.
Or not, and soldier on and watch my computer burn.
Yes.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I can. I mean, and it's also 400 DPI. You know, it's plenty large enough. I could halve the size on this thing. It doesn't need to be 80.
But it's good because then you have for cutouts. You can make maps of each block and kind of you can zoom in a bit and do.
And I don't know if they'll do this, but Chaos, you mentioned that. They mentioned like being able to take little sort of blocks in different
pages in a book or stuff like that. So it's
with all of the numbers and the individual buildings and then the streets. I've been actually doing all of the streets. That's how I started my year. I've been labeling as many of the streets in London as I can possibly get away with.
Do I have that from a previous show?
I think you do.
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, but you don't have the super sexy version.
I know I don't. I think
I'm wondering if I can actually do a screen share.
Here we go. Let me switch to the proper scene and see if this works. All right, now we can try it. As long as you don't.
Do you want me to do the screen share?
Yes. Don't. As long as it's not in Zoom.
I'm going for it though. I'm going for it. I might.
Oh boy, here it goes.
It might break the system here because this is. And you know what? If that doesn't work, I can actually do. Hold on a minute. Let's. I've got a small version that I prepared. I don't know why I didn't send you the small version. All right. Let's get my ugly mug out of the way here. So.
Now we can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Now we can. We can.
Yeah, I didn't speak.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the best way of actually sort of showing this here and how best to sort of zoom in. But this is the Gaslight London, and I have taken it off historical references. Actually, the Library of London, the Library of Scotland, the Library of Congress have gathered all of their various resources for London. One of them happens to be dead on period. I'm taking inspiration from them, not only for style, but colors, the way they handle borders, the way that they handle the top right corner over there with the key, so to speak. And this is kind of what I've come up with so far. This has become a labor of love, and we're being rated. Look at this.
Robert Harley, GM, with a rate of 143 in there, Anna and Alyssa. So if you're new, this is our welcome. Thank you all for coming in, Robert. Thank you so very much. And of course, my mom is calling me right this minute too. So it's amazing. So Anna and Alyssa are like legends of map making in the community, and we are. This is our monthly show, Friday, once a Friday, one Friday every month, and it's a fantasy mapping show. So sit back, relax. We have 2 great giveaways from Frog Guy Games. Both $50 gift certificates, so 2 of them Frog Out Games at the end. Hit exclamation point drawing, and you're more than welcome to hang out and enjoy the show. And winners will be announced at the end of the show. Yeah. So my mother knows I'm streaming tonight, but forgets. Just like Larry Elmore almost forgot about the show on Wednesday. So, but we got through that. So
Yep.
And thank you. That was really kind of you. And Robert's coming on our next DM's roundtable, Adam, more than likely. So that'll be really a great discussion. Yep. So there you go, Alyssa.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I zoomed in like a little bit on this. So one of the things I love about this is I have been like emulating old styles and trying to combine them into something that is nice and user friendly. But also they have charming little things on old maps. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but the scale is half-mile squares and circles. And that was taken from a map from the time. And I'm like, that is such a charming scale. I'm going to do the same thing. So the grid is half-mile squares, but there's circles on this too. And each circle is half a mile from a circle to circle. And I'm like, I've never done that on an old map before.
That is so cool. So is the style something you kind of took strong inspiration from an old style, or is it something you kind of mix and match from different sources, or
mix and match, Anna, mix and match. I grabbed, I want to say about a dozen maps. Library of Congress has some great resources. Library of Scotland has some great resources. Library of London, I was actually disappointed. They have a lot of resources, but their scans are low res. Like, they're not very good scans at all. But I basically looked at how they are handling their maps from the period. So, for example, like, I'm going to quickly sort of change this background here to something else. Like, I'll show you like one of the inspiration pieces, for example. I gathered like 20 odd maps, but another one would be like this one right here. So this map, I got a lot of inspiration, like the road colors, for example. You can start to see, they highlighted the roads a lot.
Okay. And you have the major roads in a different color. That is
exactly.
Cool. Yeah.
Look at the way they've got the River Thames done with that soft blue on the outside. I took that. Yeah, I love the way that they did the green for the parks.
What year is that? What year is that from, Alyssa?
This one is 48. This one.
Okay.
So this one is too early to actually get a lot of the buildings. By the way, it is amazing how much London changes. Around this time, it is amazing. Like the penitentiary, you see that little snowflake right there. That is the penitentiary. That is always there across all of these maps. But look at the empty spots to the left of the screen. You know,
right, yeah.
Like London is still growing. Yeah. And by 1890, 40 years later, they're all populated. There's buildings on that. Look at the way they're doing their key. By the way, it's around the outside. It's part of the border. On this one, which I think is beautiful. I didn't go with that style. But you'll notice, you see how on the key, I think I'm zoomed in about as much as I can, but on the key, they've kind of got this, like, you see the numbers, they've got a name and a letter. Okay. That letter is corresponding to a grid position.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
It's like the Rand McNally Road Atlas and stuff. They have the same, same system.
Exactly. So it's like you're looking for Big Ben. Yeah. Okay, just looking square L. It's somewhere in square L. Now, I can't do that for Chaosium. I think they would object. But it's charming, you know. I'm hoping to hook into that somehow.
Yeah, I used it for my latest version of my Flanese Atlas. And it's hopefully we can squeeze that in on the new one to have that system.
It's really cool.
Right. So that's my main focus right now, is getting every single street label on there.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
Well, my question was, you said commission. You're not going to be taking commissions anymore. So, is this a passion that you're going to do? You know, okay.
I'm going to be basically. I want to. If a commission comes along that interests me, I'm going to do it. If Chaosium comes along and says, "Will you draw another city map for us?" I'm going to go, "Yes, of course. You're Chaosium."
Okay.
All bow down. You know. Of course, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
but otherwise, I'm going to focus my effort on Call of Cthulhu inspired maps. So period cities, location maps, assets for your various virtual sort of playing things. That's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm just going to do it all through my Patreon now.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well,
because I love this. I love researching this. I love looking at old maps and going, I'm going to combine X, Y, and Z and create another style that feels old. I love doing that. And I want to get into Cairo. I want to draw Cairo. I want to draw Shanghai. And no one's going to commission me to do that. So I'm just going to do it myself.
So Troy just said, but what about an undersea aquatic elf city? Well, Troy, if this Buku money's right, we heard what Larry was charging for commissions, right? Yeah. So if it's that kind of money, I would say Alyssa would do it.
If the money is good enough, of course, you always get out your seat for good enough money.
Right? but nowadays,
I've done that.
Yeah. Nowadays, I say you have to outbid my patrons, and they pay better and better every month. So it's getting harder and harder for anyone who wants to commission me because they have to outbid my patrons, and my patrons keep upping their bid and helping me more and more to stay working on Greyhawk. So it's fantastic. So
someone just says in chat they'd pay for Shanghai. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
So and Troy.
Well, you know what? You may not need to pay for Shanghai because I'm going to draw Shanghai and become a patron of mine. You're going to get a copy, and there is a certain level of my patrons where you get licensed to use it. So maybe we should be talking to one side. So yeah.
There we go. I just linked your Patreon. I'm looking at it as well. So awesome. I'll do that multiple times.
So I just want to do a lot more old maps this year, like old inspired maps, but really cool ones because they resonate with people. Every time I post the London progress, people are falling out their seats over it. And it's like you and Greyhawk. People are genuinely interested. I do great fantasy maps. I really do. I love what I do with Fantasy City maps. But there's nothing quite like drawing London or New York, etc., from 100 years ago. There's nothing like it. Especially the cerebral aspect of and Anna, you must get a little of this in Greyhawk, where you have to research.
Oh yeah, that's part of the fun. It's to figure out this is the way it should look, so to speak, and then come up with it. Yeah, that's part of the fun.
I love that. I love that. It's in a way I prefer that over, I don't know, just draw me a city. It just has to be on a river. I've done hundreds of those. I don't want to do them anymore.
Yeah, passion projects and that's something that everyone who's getting into this field needs to realize, that in order to do really, really in-depth maps, you need to do a lot of research. Usually, for me, the research might be 2, 3, even 5 times more time-consuming than actually drawing the map. The map, in some ways, is the easiest step. The hardest step is to figure out what the heck should be on the map in the first place. And that's why you often have to, like me, especially when you do a fantasy world that has been described in numerous books, and then you add lots of fan art and fan creations and stuff. It gets messy, and you never get it right the first time. And now I've done 10 editions of my map, and it's still not right. So there's always improvements. So it's kind of, it's a working.
I've had that on the London map too, Anna. Yeah. Like, I drew all of London, right? I drew all of the buildings of London, and or let's say parts of London at this point. And then I pulled out another map, and I was like, wait a minute. What the hell's this? And it was a completely different building, like altogether. And the road that I had drawn was gone. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it was this constant iteration. Yeah.
Big Mac just asked, have you done anything with that elephant place?
Oh yeah, the elephant, what did it, elephant castle or something? Yes, that's on there.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. And actually, honestly, it's been fun. It's been a trip too. Yes, I'm British. I never grew up in London. So learning a lot of the streets and where they're actually at, or where the theaters are actually located, I was like, okay. And then you could see over my left shoulder, the penitentiary, that star shape. Yeah. I was like, penitentiary? What is this? I was off on a kick just researching a penitentiary. And while it's been removed and houses are there now, the ditch that they had around it is still there. And I'm like, this is history. I'm getting tingles.
Penitentiary.
I love the penitentiary, yes.
Penance. I mean, the first one in the United States was in Philadelphia. Eastern State was the first one, and
Yep.
it had the same thing. It had the long blocks, had the long rows, and had the central curved area. And it's supposedly haunted. And you have haunted things going through.
I've
there
actually
now.
driven when I was in London the last time. This is like 12 years ago now, 11 years ago, and we drove past there and with some of my friends. And I remember the buildings, I think, fairly outline where the penitentiary used to be. I think it's one of these blocks of communal housing and stuff in that area now. And you can see the star shape. There's like a moat almost around the block.
It's cool.
Yep.
It is super cool. So
sorry.
Good.
I was going to say, well, and this is, I think, also important when you're doing fantasy cartography. In order to stay inspired, you need to work on passion projects at least part of the time. I think some cartographers are really good at just doing commissions for others and earning more or less big bucks, depending on. But for me, it's the real interest in this is to do passion projects. That's when you can shine.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think I've been lucky over the years, Anna, without knowing what you're saying right now, that I had Fog God ask me to draw a Teagle, or they would, then I had Troll Lord Games ask me to do Gagsmall. And these can become, and did become, passion projects for me. And I think in the absence of a passion project, it's kind of like, all right, yet another city map, you know?
Right, you don't want it to become tedious.
Yeah, and my big kind of commission thing is Midgard. And Midgard is not something I have the same passion for as Greyhawk, in a sense, because I don't know it as well. And that's one of the problems when you're working on something that you haven't researched in depth, and I don't have the material. And the other problem is that when you're working on commission stuff like that for a publisher, you're often working on something that hasn't been published, meaning I worked on stuff that was barely written when I started working on it. So you're working alongside the authors of it. And that means that and then that's one problem. The other problem is that you're working on a deadline, meaning things need to be done within the budget, time-wise and money-wise, and those are meaning you can't take five years just to make it perfect. It needs to go into a book and a poster in 6 months or 9 months or wherever it is, whenever it is, and you need to deliver it at whatever level of quality that you can manage as best as you can manage up until the deadline, so to speak. And that puts things in a different direction and kind of a different field. So you have to kind of work with under the clock, so to speak, in a way that in Greyhawk I can just keep doing it, and I can kind of dwell on a project, sketch it out, think about it, research it for 2-3 years, and then when I feel like now it's a timing right, then I announce it. Then I'm 1/3 into a project usually, and I have a couple of projects that we're going to talk about later today that are in those research phases. So just to show a little bit.
That might be a good segue, Anna.
Yeah, let's do it, Anna.
Okay.
All right, so let me flip over to
the project this year when it comes to research and stuff have been heraldry. That was one of the to get into heraldry. That's been the project this year, so to speak. So take 25 image 25 in my folder.
Definitely.
You can show that one.
Here, I had the wrong folder open. You see, I've been vegetative in these 5 straight.
You've been streaming so much this week. So I can't.
Here we go. Oh, look at this.
There you go. And I have to blame a lot of these. A lot of these things are just screenshots of folders and Photoshop and stuff. But that's the nature of it, because a lot of the things that we're going to show here are things that are in progress or barely started and stuff. So this was a project that I kind of started research last year, and I was like, the heraldry is there, but it's when I did the atlas, I wanted to have cooler versions of it, the heraldry that looked better when you kind of enlarge them a bit. So I did the first stage of putting a little bit of texture on them. And then I realized it looks good, but I could probably do more. So I started last year and did some tests, and I was like, yes, this is good. And then Adobe put some new cool features into Photoshop last year. And one of them is that you can convert things into looking like an old painting and various textures, and you can put styles on them. And I realized this is what I want and what I need. So when that thing came about like earlier, like a year ago, almost a year ago. I tweaked and played with it for, it was not good enough the first time, but when the second version came out last summer, it was like, yes, this is what I need. So I started using it, and all of a sudden I could make shields that looks kind of like the real thing to some degree, at least what I envisioned the shield would look like it. So this has become a pet project that I can spend a few hours every week and just crank out some more heraldry. And I've done probably about 120 out of 400 now, or 150 almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
I only had like 10 done.
Yeah.
And most of them, I'm like, Anna, help me.
No, but this is one of my pet projects. So the heraldry will be hopefully done this year. Will all of it be done? I try to do 20 per week or something like that. And I have a list of probably about 30 or 40 new shields that I want to do for my own campaign, and some of them are official that I want to have on official map that I do for that I think will be for everyone, so to speak. The other ones.
How many are there, Anna? How many in total?
All in all on the Greyhawk map is about 250. And then I've done probably about 100 more that I've done that is not on the map that I've done for my own campaign.
You know, you could sell a poster of that. That's the type of thing that people would just tingle over.
Sometime this year, I hope to have a heraldry compendium for Greyhawk. So I did some heraldry pages on the last atlas, but I think it deserves its own document, so to speak, and a poster of heraldry. So that's when all the shields are done, that's when I will put them together on a poster and make some PDFs out of it so people can print it up and stuff.
I have a question. The white shield at the top with the red stripes, because I'm not a Greyhawk girl.
Yeah.
Who is that? Because I want to join
their
side.
It's one of the little baronies in ID, one of the southern provinces of United Kingdom of Alyssa, or something that the Great Kingdom conquered and then lost and then conquered again, I think, if I remember correctly. It was ID or Neri, was called ID and Neri, depending on where in the great history of Greyhawk. And it was a shield that I think was done for the Living Greyhawk campaign to be one of the baronies.
I like that one, and the black and white one southeast of it.
Oh yeah, that's Joff for the that's one of the original shields for Greyhawk that Gary had. They put in the original box set in the pamphlet. So
these are really lovely. I love how you've managed to get this convex type of like shadowing on them.
Yeah. They look real. They look like
and that is fairly easy. Yeah, well, I went to one of these that sells block or like they sell. Clip art, basically. They have templates, and I typed in shield, and I found this cool looking shield that was like a bare metal shield with the rivets and stuff in it, and I bought it for like $10 or something like that, $15. You get a license so you can use it, and then I took that into Photoshop and I used some layering magic and blend mode magic, and this is what you get.
Anna, the next time someone says I really like, you don't say, oh, that was easy. You say, oh yeah, that was each one, and hand sculpting the shields. It takes 10 hours. Come on, Anna. I'm caressing.
Alyssa,
I know that, but this show we need to be honest about the technique, so to speak. So this, if you know how to use Photoshop and know it really well, you can crank out each of these shields in 30 minutes.
You're displaying the magic. You're like Penn and
but
Teller.
But you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta have trust me. I take a template that Anna's made for me and do some moving and some painting and some extrapolating, and then I'm like, Anna, it sucks. Can you help me out here and fix it? So I got like 10. And that's
August Rex says we should make coins out of these.
Well, there's all sorts of things this will lead to.
Yeah.
Banners.
So what I'm saying is that when you invested 1,000 hours to learn Photoshop, you can do each of these in 30 minutes. Easy.
For me, about 2 hours.
Yeah, but it's a couple of them that are a little bit tricky. There's one. I think
perspective. Each one in half an hour. But you already said there's 280 of them. Yeah. So you're 140 hours into this gig right now.
Yep. Yeah, about 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours a week for 6 months. So yeah.
This takes the original glossography to the next level, which it never was taken to. And
Yeah.
the great thing is you could put these with damage on them. Theoretically, you could do that.
Yep.
You have now the round shields because we got like 5 different shield styles, right, Anna? I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah,
what we
I
got.
have a, yeah,
Yeah.
because just so the reason I chose the heater shield for most of the countries is that that's
Same.
what Gary and
Yeah, it's the same
TSR
exact
chose
size.
originally, so I want to stick with it. But I thought the almond shields were kind of cool to make them more primitive wooden metal kind of composite shield that was a little bit more primitive, that was different. So the almond and the two of shields.
Anna, do you have a favorite? There's my Ask Me Anything. Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, and on this list here is the one that has an apple tree on it that is white, and then you have a red board on top with a black one. That's one from my yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's one of my shields I developed for my campaign for a town or city in the Shieldlands that used to be. I've developed a backstory. The town is placed there in the Living Greyhawk campaign, but it's not been detailed at all. So I simply assumed that it was a valley with some kind of nice, fairly nice place to grow apple orchards and stuff. So they became famous for their orchards and their cider and stuff. So they put an apple tree with red apples on it, and I also said that was the red color that went on to the shield and shield originally, so to speak. And then you have the red board with the tower of crit wall on top of it to show that it's part of Shieldland. And this is the shield that Gensal used to do or have before the Ayusian invasion. Then they got another nasty shield, so to speak. So that's the one.
I love the weathering on these, by the way. You mentioned that earlier, but I love it. James, zoom in a little bit.
I want to. These don't zoom well. I want to show you.
I'm going
to show you the Altimeter and then the Altimeter weathered one.
Because they look real. I can
share the real one here in a moment.
Here's my Altimeter shield that Anna helped me make. Okay.
Yep.
Now that's the base one, and here's the one that I show more that has weathering to it. By the way, Alyssa, that's a kumquat on the shield. So.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Thank you, there, Patrick. And there's the weathered one with a little more dings in it. Pings and dings, and you can see a lot more of a weathering look to it, and it looks much more realistic.
I like the little rivets on this one, little studs.
Yeah, it's really cool. But we'll switch over and let
I'll switch over and
let me go to. So you're on the other side, Anna. So I'm assuming you're going to be 14 scene.
Okay.
Thank you, Patrick.
See if you put me big here. So
there we go.
Here is the this shield that is done with the apple tree. So I made it. It's the same base shield in the background, so to speak. So if you look at most of these, they're using the same scratches and stuff. And then what you do is that you take the original shield and you put it on top, and then you use the overlay mode, blend mode, and then you put it in there's neural filters in Photoshop, and that makes them into looking like a painting. And that's the trick. So it's not that difficult at all.
It's beautiful, Anna. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I want a couple of these printed light shields in my game room.
Yep.
Like this.
So it's kind of they're kind of really, really cool to.
So Anna, how much of this is available on your Patreon now? We might as well.
On my Patreon, all of these are available, and there are more coming. So yeah.
There you go, everyone. So
and the first couple of batches, I think the first 30 or 40 are available on my. You can download it on my Notion repository for all the Greyhawk stuff. That I have my vault with Greyhawk content. More is coming. So yeah.
This is extremely exciting because I know that we just are scratching the surface with this area of Greyhawk with heraldry, and it's been Brian Blomklotz's helped me get into it, and Anna really helped me afterwards, to get my own heraldry done. And now I'm like, wow, I can convert this over to real shields now. And so the first 10, my scroll through has only look at that. Let me go back to the screen.
And this one is
Night Protectors.
This one is a kind of a special little
exactly.
Yeah, we can put it. This one has a special story to it in some ways. It's kind of interesting. It's in the third edition, that was a sword and fist little booklet with
Oh my
prestige
God.
classes and stuff like that. And one of the prestige classes for all the Greyhawk fans was the Knight Protectors of Great Kingdom. And it was Wayne Reynolds, I think, who had done the sketch, and the sketch had this heraldry in black and white sketch, but and on the arm, so to speak, and on the shield that he held, and so I took that sketch from it and I straightened it out and traced it back onto the shield. And there's, if you look at it, there's a resemblance to the Lord Robilar shield.
Yeah, a little bit.
And,
yeah.
And that is kind of, I think there is a backstory to it. And also there's a little bit, remember the North Kingdom also have a big dragon on its shield. And I think that the backstory to me is that back in early history, that was one big fell beast slain somewhere. And that one keeps recurring because it was one of these heroic early stories, so to speak. And then I made it gold background and I made it green because I wanted to tie into the story kind of a little bit. So that was my reasoning for the colors, because the colors are mine, but the design is not mine. That is early 3rd edition D&D design.
I have to cut everyone off for 1 second and just say that Patrick, Canadian Ancient Gamer, just gave out his 1,000th gift sub on the channel.
Wow,
that's huge, man. That's huge.
So thank you, Patrick. Thank you so very much. That is an accomplishment. So
yeah. So this is one of my pet project that I started. Now I have another pet project that I'm working on as well. And but now we will not see fancy, because the heraldry is something that is going into production. So it looks really cool and it's kind of ready. Now we'll show something that looks way kind of less polished.
We go into yours or to?
Yeah.
Okay, to you. Yeah. You're gonna share. Okay, I got it. Okay.
And go to.
Thank you, Orcus.
Sketch to number 23.
Got it. Okay, so 23 here. Go here.
Yeah.
Go here. Go here.
Yeah. So this looks very rudimentary, and everything is just rudimentary when they're an idea stage. So what I'm thinking now, because I've done my big world map, and now I'm moving into my campaign map, and I'm moving into things like settlements, dungeons, and then heraldry. And one of the things that I wanted to dig deeper into is settlement design, meaning how are cities, villages, towns, and so on, various things, how are they constructed in Greyhawk? Because we see a lot of cool maps and stuff, but I wanted to start thinking, if the poor inhabitants or the rich ones who live in Greyhawk or in a fantasy setting that have facing all sorts of hazards and problems and enemies and stuff like that, how do they construct settlements to survive and thrive in those environments using the means they have? And the means they have are roughly the same that you had in medieval times, plus you have magic that can do some cool stuff with it. So this is my first attempt in the Shieldlands. There is a town called Ringland in Shieldlands, and that gave me an idea. So I took an inspiration from the name Ringland, and then I looked at old medieval city design and dwellings and some other stuff that people who wants to protect themselves. I looked at how they do on the Silk Road, those places where you protect against raiders and stuff like that. I looked at Turkey and a few old countries where you had people who were desperately trying to hide away and survive in harsh lands, so to speak, where invaders came often. And I realized that invaders in old Shieldlands were not only land-bound, they were also airbound, meaning you had Dragotha, and you had up in the Mud Plume Mountains, there are dragons, there are probably other stuff that could hunt you from the air. So, and you have a lot of open landscape that is almost impossible to hide in. So to just build houses on the flat soil, so to speak, they will be ruined fairly quickly. So what I realized that there's a lot of small kind of mounds or small hills. So with a little bit of magic and work, what you can do is that you simply dig out the center of the hill and leave a column in the middle of hard rock, so to speak. And then you take some of the rocks you dug out and you build a keep in the middle that is basically cut out from the mountain, rock itself. And that means it's very, very sturdy. And then you leave a ring of hill, so to speak, and then you dig out from the inside and then you fortify it on top. That means that from the outside, these things are almost impregnable. And then you take from the top of the keep down to the other side, you put like ropes and chains and stuff, and you build some small guard towers along the perimeter fence. And then you put some chains and stuff, because that way you can trap and discourage aerial predators to come and wipe it out. And you also have room to hide in, and you can even have arrow slits and stuff towards the outside. And
Cool.
therefore you can build, and you can also take in cattle and sheep and stuff like that and have them inside. And some of the biggest ones can be big. They can be like a mile in diameter, and they can be really big, or they can be many small ones interconnected. That way that each of them can be manageable in size, where there's geography that can sustain it, so to speak. And this is kind of an interesting, it's a kind of a hybrid of a lot of different designs that have been out there. And the funny thing is that the round thing back in Britain, they're called henges. We have heard of Stonehenge. So in a way, I was tempted to call them henge cities or henge settlements, but I'm not sure. So Ringland was kind of named of it. And I wanted to have this as a design of the old flan that is still around in some settlements, but the Airdie didn't build it to this. So this is one of my kind of topic to deep dive into different settlement styles and how they do architecture and stuff in different parts of Greyhawk. That's one of my pet projects to come.
Well, what's cool about this, Anna, is this was never really thought about in the old days. So this is kind of like new and cool.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's awesome about it.
So there will be 3D maps, and I'm also planning to make it carve this out straight into the terrain, so to speak. And there's a couple of examples of early design that I've done. Take number 19 or 18, and then you can go to 19. And we can kind of see that this is not an example of a ring city, but this is a sample of the quality where this will be inserted into. So if you zoom in a little bit, here is what I call the Syrian Keep. And this is my porta potty scale. So this is 1 pixel per 5 feet. And you can put it in. It's enough so you can use for overland adventures and stuff. You can see the individual trees, and you can see individual houses and roads and stuff like that. But then go to number 19. This is taking the same same one, and zoom into this one. This one is 10 pixels per 5 feet.
Okay.
So here you can actually zoom in and see. Yeah, you can. It becomes a battle map. This is perfect for if you want to have an adventure across town, or you want to have a battle to storm the keep and take it. You can have like 1 by 1 mile, or easily have a mile on the side of the map. So the map spans a mile across, and you have 5 feet squares with 10 pixels in them. And for my adventuring, I started to realize this is good enough that you get a real good sense of the situation. You can zoom in even more, I think. This is just a screenshot. Maybe, yeah, you can zoom in. And a lot of the background map is just blurry. And then I started adding the keep and the walls of the keep, so to speak. This needs.
And you're doing all the Greyhawk like this, right?
Yeah, well, I have a whole campaign map. I have 1,000 square miles mapped at this resolution. Yeah, for my campaign. So yeah, so I can take I have about 25 settlements in the works, so to speak. So this is my big pet project for this year, is to after I've done my 2022 version of map, is to make it and also look at the faded colors. I just tweaked it for the weather when the encounter is going to happen. So it's like winter, a light winter with frost, not much snow. So I just tweaked the map on the fly as session prep to match the weather that there is, so to speak. I have a summer version, the earlier version. You
Macmillan wants a Google Street View.
This may be more detailed.
Yeah,
I think being able to get on the ground and look around in 3D.
well, that's possible too, but that's the next level. But on the other hand,
I want to be able to look up at the keep, you know.
Yeah. When the VTTs are like Tailspire, and they can really make that happen. Yes, that's when we want to have City of Greyhawk in Tailspire. Yeah.
What level, Andy asks, what level are you mapping this at resolution-wise?
This is resolution-wise 10 pixels per 5 feet. A 5-foot square is 10 pixels.
Does that come into a computer resolution of 8K, 16K?
Well, that map is 10,000 pixels across.
So it's technically
10,000 pixels per mile, roughly.
Yeah, and so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we don't even have monitors that can support that yet. Right?
Yeah, well, I have 4K monitors and 4 of them, so three big ones. So, but it's
that'll do it.
Yeah, but you need more resolution because you need to be able to zoom in. So
right.
You need to have
awesome.
And it's also difficult in VTTs to chop it up into way too many maps. And it depends on your play style. If your play style is very stationary, so to speak, you go into one room and then you have a big battle, then you don't need to worry about it. But if you want to depict travel and you want to have, like, let's say you have a 4-session event where you want to storm this keep, then it would be cool to have it on one map where you can see all the units and you can kind of play it all out. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
That is super cool.
I'm sorry, Anna. I'm in the chat and we're planning out your future. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it involves manhole covers and being able to actually get into the sewers of the streets.
Yeah.
So get busy, girl.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can, if you can show a few more pictures here. So
sure.
Start showing a number. Start from 11.
Sure.
Because this is this type of maps and dungeon maps, and now we can, meaning don't get overwhelmed by the quality. This is my quick and dirty dungeon mapping style, that so my players can get all the maps. Alyssa is doing fantastic dungeon maps. These are just scrape by the bottom of the barrel to get it done kind of thing, but they work. And this is an example of, I put occluders and stuff in Fantasy Grounds so I can use lighting and the fog of war properly for the so this is part of my the Dragonhide caves that are just next to that Syrian keep in the Southern Shieldlands. All of this will come to my patrons and eventually to everybody, and there will be prints and stuff of this coming up.
Nice.
So to speak. There might even be a module of it. We'll see in the future. We don't know.
Depending on where you are, then it'll open. Wow. That's what those marks mean.
So go to the next one and you see an example of what it looks like in play in one of the rooms, so to speak. So there you go, and you can zoom in a bit, and here you see what it looks like in play, where you have one character and you can see the character. You get proper vision and lighting works, so to speak. So you can see, if you have a torch, you can see this far in a lantern and magic lights and stuff like that. It even works with dark vision and stuff like that. So it's kind of basic mapping, and once I have the templates and some things set up, they don't take that long, and they're also done to the same scale, just double. So this is 20 pixels per 5 feet, not 10. I use for outside maps, I use 10 pixels per 5 feet. Indoors dungeons, like in buildings and stuff. Here's another example of the initial caves where you come in, where you have a little bit of detail and stuff, the cave floor. And so indoors I use 20 pixels per 5 feet, and outdoors I use 10 or 5 pixel or 1 pixels per 5 feet or 10 pixels for 5 feet. And the reason I have standardized scales is that, and I can use templates and brushes and stuff and keep using them, and that way I don't have to worry. I know the settings.
That makes total sense, Anna, because I change my shit all of the time. And it's a pain in the butt because I constantly have to resize my textures and resizing the assets that I've got a growing library of. So no, you're being shrewd. I've been in this game for over 10 years and I'm learning from you.
Well, and this is also maps that I want to be able to produce. I want every location my players come to should be mapped. I want every village, every building, every dungeon mapped. And since I run a sandbox, that basically means I have to map everything within 10 miles, because that's as far as my character can run to the next session. So I basically have to map everything within 10 miles from where we are at every session. And so that's the basic, so to speak. And that means that I have to be effective. It can't look super pretty. It needs to be quick and dirty done, so to speak. So standardize the stuff, and I have 10, 15 different, something between 10 and different types of dungeon floor. And this is actually a cave floor that I did in World Machine that kind of looked cool, and then I styled it in a bit in Photoshop, and it worked fairly well, so to speak. So.
This is where Anna goes into. So I opened up World Machine and I shaped some individual grass blades.
No, not that bad, but it's kind of, yeah. But you can kind of get the shading, and so you get like
it
the 3D.
was March, so the grass blade had to be a particular shade of green.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you can, go to the last one, number 14 there, 15 and 16 shows a little. We can do them real quick. I don't want to hog all the limelight here, because, and go to that one. Here is an example of Fog of War looks like in a larger area. There is a druid circle on the left. That's why you get the star things, and the character is standing inside it, and there's pillars going up to the center of to the ceiling, and that creates these shadows using the Fog of War. But it's kind of cool. You have lighting and Fog of War, and becomes not obvious where the walls are, so you don't know where the enemies are lurking, so to speak. So it's kind of cool. And this cave is big. This cave system spans a square mile, literally, with hundreds of rooms, and there's they're old caves, there are temples, there are refuge, there are lake water systems, all sorts of cool stuff in there. So it's kind of a mega dungeon,
Awesome.
in its own right. And then there's two more you can show real quick. Here is one of the entrance into it, where they have all the defenses and stuff to make sure that intruders don't get in easily. And that was one of the most fun stuff, is the design of things. I don't want my dungeons to look like they fit on a ladder and there are square rooms to fill out everything. Meaning, this is, if I want to make a cave as hard as possible to get into, what kind of defenses will I come up with? And this is how I designed it. So I took ideas from castle design and bunker design and stuff like that. How you, in the real world, trying to make things as hard as possible to get into. So here are pit traps.
And you're evil. Like, as one of your players, I'd be sitting there with the rest of the group, and I'd be, how do we get in? I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the military.
It is hard, so to speak. There's like 10 layers of defense and stuff.
Walk us through them. Walk us through the layers of defense.
The first you have, like, the first is a hidden entry. We don't see the first 4 or 5, or 4 of them are not in here. But then first you have like these kind of spiked fence, barbed wire kind of fence, and there's like spears and stuff like that going across. And then so the defenders can stand behind it and shoot arrows and throw javelins and use pole arms and stuff through the barrier. And then you have a shape that goes like this. And that means that they can't shoot into the dungeon. And there you have the first kind of gap that is like a 200 feet down pit. And you can simply withdraw the boardwalk that goes across it. And then behind that one, that's the second one. I'll go on to the other side.
Oh, this way.
Right. Yeah, they have the first small one. And that one is also covered with arrow slits from the back. So the defenders can stand and shoot anyone who wants to try and get over it, so to speak. And then you come into the big room that has like a fortification wall with crenellations on top, that the defenders can stand in there and shoot at all the intruders, so to speak. So it's like that's a little bit to the right still.
Oh,
and I have a question for you on this stuff, because clearly you're looking at castles and design, and you are a very intelligent woman and very learned woman. But do you ever think about the magical capabilities of a party when it comes to defenses?
Yes, and that's why I think that it depends on the magic. This cave was done in a time where the first defenders didn't have that much magic, and they also rely on and if the attacker has way more magic than the defenders, you're basically screwed no matter what, so to speak. And there's the last ditch. We haven't got to the last ditch defense yet, so we're getting there. So there you have the big wall with crenellations and like it's like a made out of wood and beams and stuff. And then you can zoom in. Then you have the big open chasm down there, so to speak, with the second boardwalk in there.
Right here?
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And you can see again, there is a secret sideway passage where you can shoot into the room where the people come through, so to speak. So you can shoot at the enemy from hidden positions at every level. And then you have a long set after that chasm. You have a long kind of a gauntlet where the enemy you can run past, and then you have a long boardwalk where you can stand on top and shoot down at the enemy the whole way and throw hot whatever on it, so to speak. And then after that, you have a second kind of crenellation and wall and stuff at the end. And behind it, you have a huge stone vault door that you can actually kind of close from the inside, like a bank vault, so to speak. So if the intruders run over all the defenses, you can kind of close the damn thing from the inside and make it almost impossible to get in unless you use heavy magic, so to speak, and then use magic. So this is kind of an idea. And this big cave system has 3 of these entries with customized defenses on all of them, so to speak. So that's kind of the part. So it's just the entry is a dungeon in itself.
So this is like right up Tim's alley, Anna.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, so it's kind of
That's crazy.
But not everything is defense, because there is a little waiting room where guests can wait in order to be cleared and checked and stuff like that. And people who aren't trustworthy can hang out, so to speak, and stuff like that. And then there are guard rooms where the guards can hang out, and there's secret passage where the guards can go back and forth and stuff.
Now,
like
is this
that.
for the shield landers, or is this for the bad guys? This for the
this is actually for the old faithers. This is
okay.
the old Flan cave that was originally designed, and now be spilling some spoilers here. This is a cave system that is a bit over 2,000 years old.
Okay.
And it was back in the day when Caraptis and Dragotha were terrorizing these lands. The native land back then, they needed somewhere to hide. So they found these natural caves inside the mountain, and they expanded on them. And that's why they called the Dragonhide caves, because they were hiding from Dragotha and from Caraptis back in the day, and other evils and so on. So that's how it started. And after that, it became a temple for the old faith. And also that means that the dark faith also built temples. So all the different gods and factions and stuff from the old faith and the Flan, from the Ur-Flan onwards, have used the parts of this cave system for their own purposes, meaning there is a hideout for Zuktmoy. There is a hideout for Grast, because he's part of Grast. He's part of the old faith in my campaign, so to speak. So there are some dark sides to it as well. And some of them are hidden away, and some of them are sealed off, try to be forgotten, so to speak. And there's also one of the old Ur-Flan burial sites that is basically a pit where because they didn't know what to do with their dead, because they had a tendency of coming back as undead. So they wanted to make sure they didn't come back easily, but they didn't want to hide them forever, just because if there was a major invasion, they might want their old dead bodies and animate them and use them in their defense. So what they did was that they created a necropolis that is also hidden in here.
Oh my gosh.
So there is a lot of stuff like that. And now in modern times, it became a refuge from Ayus, because at first he was like, oh, I'm going to take this because I know about it. And the priest at first wanted to welcome him, but then he attacked 10 and started slaughtering the old Flan in other parts of the world. And they found out, and then they realized, oh, you're not welcome anymore. And that's when it became a refuge from people that fleeing from Ayus. So it's guarded by old druids of various factions and some of their guardians and stuff. So it's a very kind of interesting place.
So wow.
Yep. So that's my kind of, and there is a go to number 16. There you go. This is an overview of the whole cave complex, and everything is developed.
What's this length across?
A bit over a mile.
Right.
Yeah. So it's and it's all being, I've drawn it all at 20 pixels per 5 feet. And now I put it in fantasy grounds with illumination and occlusion and all that, so to speak. So yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's part of it, and it's also set so I can it's mapped onto the overall map, so it matches. I know exactly where the entrance are, and it's also mapped in 3D, so I know the elevation of things.
Wow.
So if someone's trying to dig their way out upwards, I know how
far they're going to take.
Exactly how much rock there is to get in or out. Yeah.
Dig a hole.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is how you kind of develop, how I develop things, and mapping is a central, essential part, the visual part of it, so to speak. So I try to tie it into this lore of the setting when I develop things.
That's
now
amazing.
I've gone on for half an hour.
That's
so
all right.
Alyssa, it's your turn here too. Yeah,
that was great. I mean, I hadn't seen any of it. I had not seen any of that, and I guarantee you 99% of everyone watching didn't see it.
And they all loved it, Anna. Everyone loves watching.
Oh, thank you.
And hearing about your thought process. Like as you're talking about your process, people are reacting to that. So yeah.
Yeah, considering you know, they even know what to do with the dead and prepare them for the a line of defense.
This was part of, and I have it that the Urflan. At the beginning, they were just animists, meaning they worship the sun and the wind and stuff like that. Then they came into the period where undead became a thing, and they were like, wow, and that became undead worship, meaning that there were lich lords and others who ruled over them, and they became obsessed with it, so to speak, and that stayed with the Flan. There is a dark side to the Flan that includes undeath and stuff, and Vecna was kind of the epitome of that period, and that might have been worst lich lords in Flandom that we haven't heard of yet, but there's plenty, and that was kind of a phase they went through, and that phase is still there to some degree, and it's still awesome. There as a kind of a last resort, so to speak. When things are, if we're facing genocide, let's get the dead out to help us. And a little bit like you've read Lord of the Rings, everyone. You know that was part of the Battle of Minas Tirith and
Lord of the what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
But it's kind of so I tie into I do a little bit of a parallel of that, so to speak. So I kind of enjoyed it, and we all know that Greyhawk have lots of liches back in history, and I wanted an explanation of why that is the case, and where Acererak and Vecna and more comes from, so to speak. They're a couple of 1,000-year-old Flan lords that in order to be the perfect Flan tyrant, you needed to be a lich, because then people feared you and respected you in a way that they never did when you were mortals, so to speak. So they became kind of living gods or dead gods that were walking among them, causing fear and stuff. So they had a period of that.
As they recently said in a popular movie, I think it was from the 90s, would you rather be loved or feared?
Yeah.
I choose feared.
Well, we all have to read our old. Now I'm going to say, damn! Now I forgot the name. That Italian guy who wrote the perfect book on being a tyrant.
Mussolini?
No. I was
like
in 1500s.
Oh.
Giovanni
Machiavelli. Thank you.
Machiavelli.
Close. Yeah, he wrote his Bible on being a tyrant. Every good DM, you should read your Machiavelli. That is very important. It's important reading for anyone who wants to DM, who wants to depict an evil ruler and stuff like that. Machiavelli is your Bible for it, and it's much better to be respected than loved. So yeah.
Crazy. So let's see here. We'll go to Alyssa here. So
no. I'm not trying to follow that act.
I wanted to say something here. That when I get for first time I ever go to GaryCon, I have my way around already. So
yeah, meaning now we
you don't need to follow it. I'm just saying that I have the map already.
Yeah,
I even know where all the restrooms are. which is awesome, right?
Yeah,
So,
that is the coolest map of a convention map.
And where the
ever
drink
invented.
stations are located.
Yeah. So this is this is really cool as far as it shows you all the rooms. It shows you, I mean, how to get around. And I forget where are we, Anna, for our things? Right in I forget where our shows are, our fantasy mapping show, what room it is in. I'm looking here just to see. It's not.
It's usually one of the upstairs. I think.
Okay, all right.
That's where most of the seminars are.
I'm in Evergreen. So I know that I'm DMing here in Evergreen 1 on Thursday. I'm almost positive this is where I'm DMing. This is upstairs, I'm assuming.
Yes, it is.
That's upstairs. Yeah. So I know I'm DMing here in Evergreen 1 on Thursday. So and then I guess wherever I'll figure out where I'm staying here at the Grand Geneva, which is awesome. Figure out where it gets off. And
in all seriousness, the fun of the Gary Con map, aside from the fact that it is for Gary Con, which I'm just going to state humbles me, right? This is Gary Con. This is Luke Gygax's baby. Ergo, it's channeling his father. And I am sure, as all of you, my life has been shaped by this hobby. And so being invited to put my little mark, my little humble submission to Gary Con is something that honestly brings me to tears. It just does. This is my soul. You are my peeps. And being able to just put something out there that possibly if you're attending Gary Con this year, you're going to get to handle. It's emotional. It is emotional for me. Every time I work on the Gary Con map, I get very tearful. And this year, actually just when I took it over, Anna, you'll relate to this. There were there were inaccuracies. Like it just didn't even match the real world hotel, right? It like the stairs were in the wrong location. They were pointing down when they should be pointing up. The elevator wasn't marked in the right place. The bathrooms weren't in the right place. And what I love about a project like this is at the end of the day, who's our audience? Game conventioners, guests. And what do they need to know? Where's my game?
Yeah,
where are the bathrooms?
And where's my seminar and where can I eat and where can I do the other parts, so to speak. So yeah.
Exactly, right. And so what I love about this type of project is you have to span the need to convey very clear information, real world information, and wrap it in a little fantasy shell.
Yep.
And I love being able to do that for this particular convention, like a huge amount. I feel like it does convey very clear instructions. You do understand where you're at in the convention. You do understand how you get up and down or where the ski lodge is located. Well, simultaneously, there's fun little bits like I drew in the bar. I drew in the tables and chairs, but they're not getting in the way of the actual communication of the piece. And honestly, I love being able to do that.
Yeah. So have you called the elevators plane shift devices or something? Or
well, I like that idea. I might do that this year.
It looks like there's a secret door. I think we're in this grand suite here. Is that right? Chaldea Grand Suite. I think that's where we are. Is that it?
Yep.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Really? That's a special room. That room is reserved for Peter Atkinson. So
no, both our shows are here.
So cool.
We're here. Yep. It says Grand Suite, Chaldea Grand Suite. It says.
Then in that case, yes, that's where we're going to be located.
Yeah, for both Legends of Lore and the Fantasy Mapping Show.
Yeah, you have to do all
Peter Atkinson, and it is the suite.
Oh, cool.
Suite.
Yeah. Really? Okay.
You have to draw all the regular common rooms next year and then call it the catacombs or the prison or something like that.
Yeah, because I'm looking here and I think that's the only one that says a Grand Suite anywhere. I'm assuming that's where it is.
Yeah, it is the only Grand Suite.
Okay. Well, cool.
I have an inside track to the cartographer on this one.
Yeah, and to be honest, this is also the perfect hotel to draw this type of map because it is literally like a dungeon. It's not like a square building. It's literally going floor up and down and twisting and stuff like that.
Well, every single year, right, they do an adventure based, and they use the map as the actual sort of map for this adventure, and they release it as a scenario for the convention. They're doing the same this year. They did the same in the last convention, and I wanted to go one stage further. I'm like, I'm going to create a map that looks good as a role playing, but I also want it to be clear and you understand where the drink kegs are
so you
at,
can actually use it at the convention and find your way around. Yeah, I think this one looks fantastic.
A little fun fact is, the boys' bathrooms basically are painted in a dirty baby poo, and the girls' bathrooms are a pink marble.
Nice, and this is great because it looks like there's a bathroom real close by for all the event. So it says open gaming here. Would they have open gaming in the hallway?
They have open gaming in several areas, because some of the hallways are actually pretty wide, and they can slide tables along the sides of them, and it's just open gaming.
Yep, they do. At least I've done it. I've been there 3 times now, and I've done,
that's
open
cool.
gaming. Yep.
Oh, hey, look, I already know where I am. I just don't know where my room is yet. So it's somewhere.
Yeah, I have not put all of the guest rooms on this map. Okay,
and something for next time. So you have to have your catacombs and your prison and all that stuff. Yeah,
I'm so excited. I cannot wait. And look, the Adventurers League, they're so special. They get this whole grand ballroom. My gosh. So where's the Legends at there, Alyssa? The Legends of Gaming. What's his name?
Actually, so this year they're not marked on there yet, but the Legends are at the top, the bottom 3 rooms.
Here?
Right at the yeah. I'm going to be marking the map.
So wait, so I'm DMing in the Legends room.
I believe so. It's one of those 3, if I recall correctly.
Okay, because it looks like they're all interconnected here.
No, they're not. Well, they'll basically, it's one big room, but you can put these partitions, and then there's big, huge industrial walls that separate them, and there'll just be a gap where you can move between them if need be. That's the
basement, right? Yeah.
No, that's the top area.
Oh, okay, that's the top end. Okay.
Well, cool. Good to
hear.
The
basement is
you have the corridor. Because
I haven't checked on any Carlos's games where he is.
Yep.
So. Well, very, very cool that getting this grand tour.
I'm honestly, I enjoy working on these maps. It's fun every time. And this time we're going to have some canvas limited edition prints, and we'll have some posters at the
upper level. Now I can see it.
How's this restaurant? So how's this Brasagio? Is this decent here? I've never been.
Oh, it's not bad. It's actually not bad at all.
Yeah.
Good. And maybe eating there a lot.
They have some nice restaurants on facility on.
Now I need to
what am I saying? On campus, on location, on site. Yes.
And all 3 of us will be there.
Down too.
What? Excuse me. I mean,
they have another one further down on the main level. There's quite a nice restaurant down there.
Oh, this Geneva Chop House.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Money. And then the GM.
Yeah, but Bill Webb goes there. Stefan Baccorni goes there.
Ah, the big deals. Aha! Awesome. So I see this yawning portal lounge down here. There's a GM lounge at the very bottom. It's just what is it? It's just a hangout place. Is there alcohol here? Do you have any idea, Alyssa? It says yawning.
Even though I have GM'd at GaryCon, I've never been in the GM lounge.
Oh, really? Okay. So secret things happen.
Never.
All right.
So secret things happen down there.
Yeah. So I'll find out. That's nice. Well, very cool. So I'm assuming that you said there's going to be some changes to this, some additions, some little.
Yes, and next time we do the fantasy mapping show, the additions and changes will be complete.
Okay, cool.
And we could take a look at it together.
Oh,
that's
awesome.
Great.
Yep.
Awesome. So listen,
just don't schedule it for the beginning of February because I won't be ready.
Oh no, we won't do that. We'll do it. So we have, as you've seen, we've had the St. Jude Fundraiser right in the middle of the month next month. What's that? The 18th and 19th and 20th. So it'll be the 11th or the 25th, more likely the 25th. That's just a Friday.
I will definitely be done with this map by then, because if I am not, Luke Gygax is going to be saying, where the F is my map?
Exactly.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Because they need to get into print and stuff, so I need to be ready.
That is fantastic.
And thank you, Captain Ron. Honestly, man, you know, Anna like has a hold on one cool aspect of cartography. I like to embrace with a different type of cool, and really trying to, like a gaming convention like GaryCon. Like, I'm trying to ensure that it is very clear where you're at and where you need to be and how you get there, while
looks
still making
gorgeous.
it look freaking awesome.
Yeah,
I love that. I love being able to do that.
I mean, look at it. Meaning your dungeon maps are so beautiful, so awesome, and city maps and stuff, and especially the content I produce for my campaigns. Well, it's more like I need to produce tons of them. They're not beautiful works of art; they're functional for my games, so to speak.
And there's a cafe.
There's a couple of Easter eggs on this map too. I'm not going to tell you what they are.
Cafe.
Oh,
But
now I
there
need
are
to look
Easter
at it
eggs
again
in
here.
here.
Yeah.
Can you actually really zoom in on the bar area?
Which one?
Yeah, the
Here.
lobby lounge.
All right, let's
And
see.
zoom in and zoom in.
There's dice.
I think
there's
that,
dice
okay,
here.
do you see a body on the floor?
Yes, I do. Who is that? That's got to be someone. It's
That's
you?
me.
It's you passed out?
So the truth is, my first time I ever attended GaryCon, I was with friends in the bar, got a little tipsy, I got a little inebriated, decided that the way to extricate myself from the table, because you couldn't, because we're shoulder to shoulder, was to climb over the chair. The rest is me face planting.
Oh.
So that's a little Easter egg right there. But there are others on this map.
Yep.
That
I
is
love that
awesome.
there's some dice in the dice tray. There's some vomit or some spills in
all
the
over.
game on the left there.
Because you've got to, right? You've
Yeah,
got
it's
to. And I
it's
love
so
doing that.
cool.
I love adding those little details. I want people to hold a print of one of my maps
Yep.
and go, wait,
Mhm.
what is that? That's what I like doing into cartography.
Yep.
Very cool. And the great thing is there's a lot to explore, and I'll just make sure I have a lot of cash and a lot of credit card space popping, and I wanna enjoy myself.
Oh, I'm going to be hanging out with you a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Gary.
We're already Chuck's gonna go bankrupt because Chuck's like, oh, let's go out, right, from Troll Alert. He's gonna go bankrupt here because we're gonna be put on Chuck's tab now. I wouldn't do that. I'm kidding. Charge it to the Underhills. That's from Fletch, everyone. So looking forward to this. Listen, this is great. Such a great map. So lots to explore and lots to figure out here. And what's in 4211 that needs a secret door? Well, I see 4311.
yeah.
That's 4311. We already talked about that, right? You mean up here? This? That's where we are. That's where our show is. If you're talking about this, that's the Grand Suite. Yeah, that's where our fantasy mapping show and our Legend and Lore show is in this room right here with a secret door. So whatever secret in there.
So attend the show if you want to get past the secret door.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
I think there's room for 30. I think it's we have 30.
There is. Yeah.
There's another suite. Where is it? Where's 4211? So there's another secret door?
I think it's further down.
Oh, I see it. I see
There
it.
is another suite.
I see it right here. Don't know what that one is.
Also, private invite only, secret door.
Oh, okay. But
either way, we're in super secret location.
Yeah, but you have a platinum badge. You might get in.
Oh, I know.
Key
I'm
to
one
some of these secret doors.
Yes. I have a platinum.
We are mere mortals, at least me.
Greyhawk, I can go anywhere.
So
There's only one place I can't go, and that's the diamond ones, and that is the actual dinner itself. The actual dinner itself Thursday night. Everywhere else is I'm in. Carlos has got one too. So we both are in good shape with the platinum badges. So.
Yeah, and I'm not sure special guest is quite as high as a platinum.
Okay,
I'm not quite
you
sure.
might be a mere mortal like me then. Yep.
Yeah.
You're one of the quasi.
Although I am painting miniatures for Luke, so I'm hoping
there you
that
go.
gets me
now
a
you're
little bit.
Yeah, I've only
leeway.
gamed with him. That's all to my credits. Yeah.
Which I have not. Even
there
to
you
this
go.
day, I have not.
Well, we did last Saturday.
Yeah.
We had Ed Greenwood and Luke Gygax playing in the game together, and Luke played the son of Melf, Alyssa.
Nice.
Oleator, but we call him Smelf.
Nice.
Yeah. So he played last Saturday in the game with Ed, and it was pretty fun. Yeah, well, of course, Balfour, you're allowed to make fun of Luke, so that's okay because you're doing tech work for him. All right, so Alyssa, you got some other cool things here. I mean, some of these maps are really cool looking.
All right, so I don't want this to be just all about me, and I do want to.
No, it's about me for 45 minutes. So you still have half an hour to go. So
we're good.
Carry on.
We're good.
no. We gotta be able to do an AMA. Right?
Yeah. All right. So
also on this one,
5 minutes. We'll do an AMA. How's that sound? We'll do 5 minutes.
That sounds really good. Because honestly, I don't need to talk about this one particularly for more than 5 minutes. Just know that Inkwell Ideas. I think this month. Are doing a Kickstarter for a geomorph. Inkwell Ideas do the dice. You see them at conventions. They do dice with the old school blue on them, or the dice and Logos sort of style dungeons on them. And you can basically put all of the dice next to each other and you've got a dungeon. Yep. Well, they're going to be doing another Kickstarter. They invited a whole bunch of cartographers to participate. I am humbled to be one of them. And it was basically 3 sets. You've got sewers, crypts, and caves. And what we're looking at right now are, well, this is a crypt. There's 9 pieces you've got to do for each set. So 27 maps in all. We're all working off the same template. So it's a total geomorph. You could take me or Dyson and put our pieces together. And this is a cave piece. I was personally inspired by the South American crystal caves. And they're crystal, by the way, look it up online if you've not heard of it. They are crystals literally the size of a house. I kid you not. These massive, massive, massive crystals. And they're beautiful. These incredible caves. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make my cave system like this. And so this is one of my submitted pieces. And here's another one. And you'll see that while it doesn't look like it, these pieces would actually sit side by side. Mm-hmm. And like some corridors go nowhere. Some corridors snake around and exit off. Some end in caves and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and what's really cool is that you can intermix them, and that's the great thing about the geomorph system is you can make up your own setting, with
exactly. And I love the concept. I really, really, really do. At one point in my life, I want to do a geomorph city, which I think could be really kind of cool. But like, just looking at the likes of this, it's like, you kind of come into a corridor that ends at a pool, but the pool has got a deep bit and you can swim down into a corridor. And it's like, and this could join onto a completely different cartographer's piece. And I love that concept,
That is awesome. And nicely done. So now, one other thing, are you going to do the Fantasy Grounds Academy meeting or show? Right.
Oh, I was made aware of that. That's next month, right?
Yep, it's next month. So we would, I think.
I don't know. I mean, I literally know nothing about it.
Okay, we have to give you all the details because I think Lyra will be thrilled to have you on. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I would.
I would love to. I would love to participate.
Yeah.
Someone made me aware of it, but I'd not heard of it before.
Yep.
I think he does one every so often, every year or so.
And we can mention now, when you mentioned Inkwell Ideas, that we have had Joe Wetzel on for he was on episode 6. So 2 episodes ago, we had him on the show, and he talked about this project and some other project and Worldographer, that he's another of Inkwell Ideas products and stuff. So really cool. So you can go back to YouTube channel, I think, to watch that show too. So
and it maybe it's going to be close to being still on Twitch too.
Okay, so good
for 90. Mm-hmm. All right, so why don't we? By the way, as you see this new logo, Anna's still working on it, but I put it up there. That is the going to be the official banner for the fundraiser, not the piece of crap I put together. So
it's a quick and dirty.
Well, yeah, but it's really cool.
If you look carefully and chat, I encourage you to do so. Watch carefully. You can actually see Anna's brush strokes appearing on it as you watch.
I lost it there. Alyssa, I'm sorry.
But it's up to the chat to be able to watch Anna actually drawing this thing live.
Yeah, well, it's just a bunch of Photoshop layers, so it's not that much magic into it, more than Photoshop wizardry.
Hannah, we spoke about this.
I know, but I want to. This is the show where but this is the show where we actually tell them how easy it is to do. We want to get other people into it.
They're looking behind the curtain.
Yeah, but it's the same thing like with my shields. First, you need 1,000 hours of Photoshop knowledge. After that, it's not that difficult. Yeah.
Balfour, who works with Laren, just said he can confirm Laren would love to have Alyssa join for the Mappers Delight. There you go. So
perfect.
We'll talk about that afterwards. So, all right, ask Anna and Alyssa anything within reason, of course. Go for it, audience, for 2022 or pre or whatever you desire here. If we have ask us anything in the last 30 to 40 minutes we have here. So, Andy, do you know if there will be a PDF world map for sale of Midgard? Just love making a huge map on my wall.
Yeah, that's a question I've been asked by 10 people now, and
wow.
and what I can say about it is that I delivered. I think it was 3 weeks ago, or it was just around New Year's, or maybe just after New Year's. I delivered a new updated compiled version of the whole Midgard map to Cobalt Press. That was updated and up to date, the whole thing in a layered, enormous, really huge PSB file, and that is the large Photoshop format with all the layering and stuff that they are going to update the online map with. Cool. And hopefully they can also they can do all the raw data, so they can do whatever version they want on it, so to speak. So I hope that there will be cool downloads or for sale or whatever, but normally they've sold PDF versions of earlier maps for like pay your own price or very cheap. So hopefully it can be, and I think it should be available both in JPEG and in PSD version, or rather a PDF version, so you can print it and use it, and layered version in PDF.
What have they got online, Anna? Because I the last time I took a look at their stuff was maybe 18 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, do they keep that up to date?
Yeah, sort of. The problem was that it was not fully. There were two problems with first, the distances were not right on the first version. I think they fixed that. The problem was that it didn't encompass the whole of the Southlands, and then we made some additional areas of the map and stuff. But this I delivered to them is the whole thing, everything that I've done up to the latest corrections and stuff, because we had a bunch of additions and corrections and typos and things. So there was a long list of stuff that I fixed. So hopefully they can get that up and running, so to speak, because they got all the information from me. So it's out of my hands now. So if you want to have it done, bug Cobalt Press on forums and everywhere, and keep telling them what you want, so to speak. So then they should be, then they're able to get it to you if there's enough interest. So but please do, and I'm humbled by all the interest, and all the good feedback and stuff I got. So, and it's really been a fun project to work on. And on the technical perspective, the Midgard map is basically the first generation of World Machine map. That was the Southland. The original Southland was my first World Machine, like real 3D modern technology. So it was like 10 years later technology than my Greyhawk map uses, and techniques and workflow. And then I've done for my own campaign and for future Greyhawk maps, I've taken a 10-year later technology, so it's 2 generations after the Midgard map, and that's what is coming, so to speak. So it's kind of really cool, and I want to have one further generation because it's so tantalizing close. The new generation of updated World Machine Gaia and tools are coming that are damn so good. They're looking so good, but they're just in alpha and early beta, so they kind of tease me with all the cool stuff you can do with them, but they're not really good enough for solid production yet. But it's very, very close. So I hope that this year I can get both the new computer and new cool tools to build even better stuff. So it's coming. Yep.
7.5 tie-in for Alyssa. I'm going to step out 10 seconds here. For your historical cities of the world project, what time period are you shooting for? 1880s or earlier? I'll be right back.
I'm going to answer quicker than your 10 seconds.
Wait, you guys can.
No.
Yeah, I'll be right
We
back.
can
You
battle.
guys can chat.
You
I got
count it
all right.
down. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, so thanks for the question. So I'm shooting, honestly, for a traditional Call of Cthulhu sort of period with everything I'm going to be doing this year. And so anything from Gaslight to 1925-ish, 1930s maybe, is the period that I'm shooting for. So about a 40-year period for every city map I do. And the first one is going to be New York, Shanghai, Cairo. I'm going to hit them first. And that will probably get me through the year, I think.
Cool. Yeah, and then we have a follow-up question from Orcus Rex. There was a talk of a flying dragon over Midgard. Yes, and I did the mistake early on, like 10 years ago almost, or like 8-7 years ago. I made a mistake of showing a flyover over the Southlands map to Wolfgang Bauer, the head of the creative leader of Cobalt Press, the founder, and he loved it so much. So now I've been forced to do a couple of them, and they're really tricky to do. But if you have the right raw data, you can do fantastic flyovers. The problem is that with commercial projects, you often have to cut corners, and one of the corners I had to cut on the Midgard map to fall within time and budget constraints was to fake some of the areas, just fill in the blanks in Photoshop. And the problem is that then you don't really have that awesome 3D data. So there is a picture somewhere, and that were used for hang on a second, we can probably show it here in a little bit. That was done to show 3D that was I made for. So I actually went back and redid the 3D areas and filled in the blanks, but in lower resolution. So I'm going to see if we can find that and show it here. So I think we have
it. Kasumba's back. I actually didn't even notice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I needed to. I forgot to shoot the stuff up my nose for my allergies and keeping those nasal passages open for.
Yeah, I was sitting there mentally still counting. I'm like, oh no, he's back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you switch over to my screen again, so to speak,
yeah,
I can show a little bit. This one has been showed a couple of times previous year. This is a 3D rendering from space, from Midgard, so to speak, seen from the north to the south. So you have the central lands of Midgard here. You have the whole of the Southlands and stuff expanding down here. I put a lot of little clouds in. That was a mistake, and I realized that afterwards, but you can see here they look fairly much like clouds, but they were not. And this one was a haste work, so to speak. But it is cool because it is my biggest 3D map, and it's actually the whole Midgard, world of Midgard, done in right elevation, and it's a 3D map and stuff. And I spent about a month to take the data in and recreate the 3D map properly, because there were some areas we simply had to just get over quickly, so to speak. But it is cool because when you zoom in, the resolution is not that high on it, so you can actually see these peaks.
How high up is that? Is that 50 miles or?
Oh, it's probably more. There's probably 500 to 1,000 miles up or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so roughly. So you have some of the islands. So this is kind of the cool things you can do when you have real 3D stuff, so to speak. So you can actually do things. So this is one of the projects you can do. So yeah. So hopefully there could be more stuff in the future, so to speak. So yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Very good. You guys are easy tonight on questions, by the way. So I saw that Bones asked for like entry level. Someone who does them for fun, like Incarnate. Is there any like a beginner's how to that you could do in the future?
Anna, you and I still need to do a technology show.
Yes,
talking about the different tools.
Yeah, we need to, and I was thinking we should probably dig into using image editors, GIMP, Photoshop at the first one, because that's if you want to just GIMP, draw and stuff to do GIMP, Krita, Photoshop, these kind of tools to do it will be one, and then we have these kind of tools that makes it easier for you, and in some ways more easier, in some ways more difficult. Those that kind of have pre-made assets and stuff like Incarnate, Dungeon Fog, and you have there's a whole bunch of them now, and there's more coming out. You have there's probably about 10 or 20. The problem is that I have license to a bunch of them, but I don't use them, because for me the problem is that they break my workflow. I want to just doodle, especially when I do dungeon maps and stuff. I just want to draw them. If I have to look 2 minutes to find the right asset, that breaks my immersion, so to speak. So that's
I
my
did
problem.
like what Balfrin.
Yeah.
Balfrin. Suggested, where it's a budget-friendly show on how to basically get started. Because on that, let's be honest, Photoshop would not be on the list. No,
Photoshop
there were a whole list of alternatives.
Yes,
free,
right?
GIMP
is a great alternative. If you want a fully featured image editor so you can do basically anything, then for GIMP is a great alternative because it's free, doesn't cost a penny, and there is no ads or anything like that. It's a truly open source tool that looks a little bit funky in places, but it can do some solid good work with it. Another good example is Krita. That is another open source free software that is also amazing, and I've started to use it as an alternative to Photoshop in some ways, because in some ways it's even better than Photoshop. So that's a really cool tool that has fantastic brushes and stuff. So if you love to doodle your maps, then Krita is your thing, and it's kind of difficult for me to say because it's actually Swedish, so it's called Krita, meaning chalk. The chalk that you draw with on a old blackboard in school. That's the name in Swedish. So it's kind of funny to say that name. I don't know how to say it in English properly, but it is a cool tool that has come.
I'm just imagining most people alive nowadays are going, "What's chalk?"
Yeah, exactly. Most people can't know it.
It was the thing at my school. So.
Yep. Now, so when you used a blackboard instead of a whiteboard back in the day, then you use chalk to draw on, and the Swedish name for that is Krita, and that's what that tool is made, and it's kind of really cool. So we should probably look into have a show where we can at least explain a little bit and look into some of the basics.
I think that's the thing, right? A lot of people want to get into mapping. They even just want to doodle a map. Then maybe they just have a need for their current game they're running. And they just want to do it quick now, down and dirty, and they don't want to subscribe to freaking Adobe for X amount per month, right?
And the cool thing is that there's like 4 or 5 different things you need to know about a tool like that. Then you can, if you know these 5 things, then you're good. If you know what layers are, brushes are, blend modes, and a few other things, then you're good.
So let's plan for that after GaryCon.
Yep, that will be a good
because we're gonna try having a guest next month, and then get the GaryCon one we're at GaryCon. Then when we come back, so we're looking at episode 11.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Hopefully that'll work for you.
Yep. But I don't want to downplay, because if you like to do really good looking maps quickly, then tools like Dungeon Fog, Incarnate, and stuff are fantastic. Campaign Cartographer is the oldest one that has been around for over 20 years now, I think. And they come in different flavors, and they have different strengths and weaknesses, but they can do.
Yeah, it'd be fun to talk about this. We could talk a long time on this, because it's a causality actually mentions Campaign Cartographer too.
Yeah,
and I used to own everything. I have
like 10 different. I have like 10 different.
Right, from the white binder that they had back in the 80s and 90s.
Yep.
I mean, I love those guys, but that's a learning curve right there.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It was like doing AutoCAD from the scratch almost.
Exactly.
Oh,
and
it's based
software.
on CAD, right? I mean, it was.
Yeah, and for some people, I think hits the sweet spot. Some people probably love that approach to it, and some people don't like it. And there used to be a software called Dungeony that was fantastic back in the day, but they folded before they became big, so to speak. And they had
I think it just got to last into this world of virtual dungeons.
Yeah. Oh,
I think they could have just.
Yeah, someone should have taken that up because Dungeony was fantastic back.
It was popular too.
Yes,
it was just. It was a little bit before its time.
Exactly, it was like 5 years too early. Yep.
Yep. You had a lot of people creating content for that too.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll plan out about we can bring it up in mobile shows. We'll plan out what we want to do show by show. I think But the good thing, that'll be it because we'll interdo it between some guest shows and things. So we'll Bones, you know me. Visual is huge for the way I DM.
Yeah.
If I don't have my tabletop or whatever, I'm lost. I'm not a theater of the mind. I'm not a very good theater of the mind DM.
Yeah, but
I'm going to have to get you in one of my Call of Cthulhu games then, because that is theater of the mind. Let's see how you're doing that, Jay.
So, here's a quick story. I'm hanging out with Jimmy Duffy and his wife at Gen Con 2015, and who was the big Call of Cthulhu guy they had on the Wizards of the Couch? Danny McBride? Is that it? Was that it? What was his name? Danny?
Yes, I think Danny.
Yeah, Danny. Right. Big fella, huge Call of Cthulhu guy, and they're setting up this airplane. They're all sitting passengers in an airplane, and we get there and we're just hanging out. And he's like, "Hey, you guys want to play? We got a couple open seats in the plane." And I'm like, "Nope. Well, yeah, sure, no problem. How long is this going to go? 6 to 8 hours." I was like, it was already like 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, "No, thanks." Oh my gosh, that's just like crazy.
Gabby Con, Sunday morning, 4 hours. Cthulhu Invictus. If you want in, I'll run you a game.
What day is it?
Sunday morning.
See, you might have Sunday morning.
Well, so we could take that offline, but I will run an ancient Rome Cthulhu for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Hopefully,
and actually, you're invited anyway because of the freaking badge that you've got.
Yeah, he can sign up before almost everybody else. So,
In fact, sign-ups start for me in like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
they do. They do. But I'm inviting some VIPs to my game on Sunday morning.
There you go.
And look, you just been the first person.
All right, all right, cool.
Yeah, but Jay, you said that you wouldn't run the game without your game table. For me, it's the same way now. When I run my games, I want it mapped. Otherwise, I'm lost, so to speak. So I'm the same way with I want to have that virtual map, so to speak. That I can move the tokens around.
I'm kind of over here because you know me at this point, right? Mm-hmm. I have thousands and thousands and thousands of miniatures. I truly do. I'm a big painter and I'm a big collector. Been collecting since the 80s. In Call of Cthulhu, I use none of them. Right. It's all theater of the mind. I use not one miniature at the table. And honestly, it kind of hurts me inside. I have hundreds of Call of Cthulhu miniatures painted, chef's kiss style, and I never use them. And a little bit of me dies.
Yeah. So you have to play other games then. Can't you get Cthulhu miniatures and stuff?
Oh yeah, they made them.
Yeah, I've got a lot of Cthulhu miniatures.
See, there you
I just never used them because it's all
because of play style and then insanity and all that. So that's all right. Alyssa, Alyssa's in for the next BattleTech game session whenever we will. I'm attempting to have one in February, so.
And that will be using miniatures.
Oh yeah, you have to use miniatures in that game. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get Tim back in and get the whole crew back in on that.
I was actually thinking about you today. Someone on Facebook posted a whole bunch of terrain for Call of Cthulhu for Mech Warrior.
Yeah, I saw it. That huge tabletop setup he had. It had
You saw it?
I saw it.
It was kind of sweet, but I was like, I think Jay could do better.
Yeah, there's no level. He had no terrain level variations. I saw it. It was very nicely done because a lot of people use the hex space anyway because that's how they work. We work on inch scale, so that it's not all exact, and it's kind of cool. So but it was.
One would say yours is more accurate in a way, right? If you're just inch to inch measuring distances and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think the Nasrat had a good question here, or more like an insight that I think is really good. And say quick and dirty is what I'm struggling with. My workflow is all over the place cartography wise, and meaning when you prep for your game, there's all sorts of rabbit holes that you can dig into that it takes forever, and I jump into most of them, and cartography have been one of my big holes to dig myself way too deep in. But now I've dug so deep that I actually got good at digging. So now I can actually produce more hole quicker than most others, so to speak. So that's, I've turned that kind of digging deep into its own good, so to speak, for me. But when it comes to writing up the stuff and do all the monster stats and stuff like that, I'm starting to get the right tools. But cartography, find a style that suits your game style, so to speak, meaning see it as notes that you're willing to share with your players, and don't overdo it. And think about it. Look at Dyson, is one of the masters of this. I mean, his maps are gorgeous but super simple, and you can sketch out something very, very simple. Your players they will not demand more than when you give them, so to speak, in some ways, because as long as you can convey, the important bit is to convey information and inspiration, those two things, and to your players, and somewhat worst case scenario, just keep the maps to yourself and then use theater of the mind. Oh, we had a jack sighting. Awesome.
Oh, well, suddenly a wild jack.
Yeah. But I think it's a really good kind of thing to keep in your mind when you do maps for your own games. Find, first of all, the right tool, the right style, meaning think of the maps. What kind of maps do you need for your game and do you want for your game? Is it a theater of the mind? You just want to have a rough sketch of the landscape, meaning where the cities are, the time travels, and how long it will take to go. You don't need details and stuff. But if you run a sandbox, that requires more different things. Do you want to detail settlements to go from every building so they can do their shopping and then get lost in some inn and sewers and stuff? So you have to start thinking of what you want to convey. Are your game very static, meaning you go to a couple of locations and then you really run in-depth adventures in one temple or one inn or the sewers? Then you should get something like Incarnate or Dungeon Fog or something and really map those, or get into, meaning there are wonderful dungeon maps made by Alyssa Faden and a bunch of other cartographers that are fantastic. Get like these Inkwell geomorphs or something and write adventures to fit these, so to speak. And the other thing, if you run modules, you normally don't need to worry because modules come with good maps, and that solves a lot of your issues. So
well,
if you run
it really depends a lot on also the VTT. If you're VTT user,
exactly, or
which
or
one
if
you use, and what's available. And we had, like I said, we had Fantasy Grounds Academy on Sunday night, and showed all this stuff. So same when you use the harm resources.
Or if you sit around the table, then I use these tiles to hang on a second. I need to find them. So dig
I
them out
actually
here.
used tiles too back in England. And they were these plastic tiles
I use these.
There you go. Nice.
Tactiles. And there's actually now there is what is this called? These are not for sale anymore. These were so damn expensive that they went bankrupt.
Yeah, too much.
Selling them. They cost like $500 or something for a set. This
one piece.
No, not one piece, but one set of 24 or something like that of these.
Yeah.
And you use dry erase markers, and then you can just, they're like a puzzle, so you can just put one to the other, and then you can just move the map along. It's fantastic. But there is a guy that now he calls himself Mapping Paper or something. What was his? He's an awesome guy. He's at most conventions and stuff, and he makes paper that are. So I'll see if I can find it. Yeah.
So Anna, I've been thinking that I don't want to take all my terrain just for DMing one game, and I'm going to be taking the stratagem tile sets along with my plastic miniatures along, and that should be enough for a 4-hour session. Yeah. So I understand what when it comes to that. And I don't have to slum it.
The thing, I learned to draw with dry erase markers on these tactiles that look fairly okay, to be honest, and they weren't bad, and I did it while I was explaining things and while we were gaming. So, and then I just used my smartphone and took a picture of the result afterwards and used as a reference, so that way they come back to it again. So I just had a clunky sketch that was just a line for a corridor and a little square for a room, and it just had said this is the main room in the inn and so on, and that's the stables out there. And then I just came up with the details as the session went around. So that meant that I could basically do 90% of my actual mapping during the session. And I wanted a VTT that had the functionality that I could draw just like I did on the tactiles. That VTT is not invented yet, but when they invent it, that will be wonderful, because that way I can sketch during the session, and that will be fantastic.
And there's a lot. I play games party. I use Fantasy Grounds if I don't like the modules. Master draw them. Yeah, that exactly. So for me, like, I'm sneak peeking. There's tomorrow morning's game table set up, ready to go already for 9 a.m. tomorrow. So, and some custom stuff, a lot of 3D prints, a lot of stuff going on. So there's my map. Gotta take the pictures. So.
And you're saying you're not doing this for Gary Khan?
Well, how am I going to get that? Like, for once, I'm DMing for
dedication,
1 4 hours.
Jay.
Oh
dedication.
my gosh!
Gaming paper.
Dedication to your craft.
I don't know how I'm gonna. I don't know how I'm going to ship this stuff there.
Torment, and a lot of cost.
Yeah, exactly, and a lot of worry that Bill's
and
going
then
to kill
broken
me.
bits at each end.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to take tiles and my plastic minis, and the plastic doesn't break. I think that'll be. I think that people should.
In all seriousness, I think I'm a big war gamer. I have thousands of wargaming miniatures, and I would love one day to turn up at Gary Khan and literally play Battle of Teutoburg and put thousands of 25mm miniatures at the table. But can you imagine the damage from the players just grabbing stuff and just dragging them across tables?
Exactly, and also, also just dropping something, and what are you going to do? You're not going to yell at anyone. I can yell at my players, my
and
friends,
you can't. No, you got to take it with a smile on your face.
Exactly.
It's damage, and it happens. So I get you.
Also,
there's no way I could do it. Right, unless I'm driving across country.
Right, I'm flying into Chicago, so what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Have multiple suitcases and stuff, or am I going to FedEx it out and get lost? I can't do that. So
I put a link to Gaming Paper. That's what the company is called. That makes a modern version of these tiles. And some of them are made in really stiff cardboard, which means that they only cost like $15 or something instead of $250. So it's you can draw on them, and you can use dry erase markers and stuff. They have lots of big. So if you play at a table and want to draw while you're gaming, Gaming Paper is the stuff. They have the products for you. It's fantastic. It's run by a really cool guy too. So it's I really like to promote his stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'm spoiled with my basement, everyone. You know that, and that's why I have my basement, so I don't need to leave. And I figured out a way to have remote people in and play BattleTech and D&D, so it's not a problem. So everyone's got their own tweaking styles. But a Call of Cthulhu game where I go insane in the first 15 minutes would be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, everyone else plays that trope. I don't with my game.
Good.
And that is a thing with Call of Cthulhu. Maybe one day I'll talk about Call of Cthulhu a little bit more sort of time.
Yeah.
But everyone at a convention just wants to kill all of the players or make them insane, and that's cool. But that's the equivalent of a Killer Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yeah,
that's how little I know
it's
about
the
Cthulhu.
same thing. It's a style of approaching it.
Yeah.
But I prefer to reward smart play.
Okay.
If you figure out what's going on, you figure out the BBEG, and you're prepared for it, and you play it smart. I'm not going to squash you just because it's Call of Cthulhu. Maybe you walk out the winner. That's how I get to
I'm 100%. You convinced me. Do I need to sign up when I'm able to? I'm 100% in. Sunday morning,
awesome.
I'm in.
Yep.
Awesome. I would be honored to run again.
I'm in 110%. That sounds Tim gives me permission to yell at anybody I want. Well, thanks, Tim. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's very nice of you. So, I know what is going on next couple weeks with you both. Who wants to start that? What's going on as far as we do some shout outs here, then we'll do some giveaways, and then we'll find someone to raid into it.
I've told you everything I'm doing.
I know. I know. It's
I have a few more things I think that we should be
I got
doing.
a couple quick things.
Anna, you take it.
And Antiquitas, you have a cool link, and where you have AR and stuff. Yes, I think we need to have that. We should have a future show where we talk about speculate what's going to happen in the next 5 years, 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, or something like that.
Frankly, if I can strap an Oculus to my head at some point and get into a city,
I do that quite often.
Maps,
yeah,
you're not going to see me again.
Isn't that Shadowrun where you put the jack in your head? Aren't we almost there with Shadowrun?
Yeah, exactly.
I hope we are. I hope we are.
I quite often strap my reverb, HP reverb when I do flight sim and stuff.
Well, yeah,
so
we are.
So I'm looking into the possibility of putting my maps in VR. Definitely. Yeah. So that's on the horizon, but that's something for.
I want to be able to walk down a dungeon and I'm there.
Yep,
you know, I'm there, and my friends are there.
Well, you can play Skyrim and and then you can do that. So yeah,
a little bit.
You know, the future's going to be so much better, and we're not going to unjack.
No.
I mean,
okay,
I'm going to starve plugged into the Matrix.
Yeah. So what so for me, I talked briefly in the beginning. So about the 2022 edition, that will be basically I work feverishly to get that done before GaryCon. I might not make it all of it, the 598 map, but at least the 576 map should be done by then, and hopefully I can have most of the Atlas done by then too. So that is the big project this spring, is to get the 2022 edition of the 576 map, the 576 Atlas, and then the 598 map, and then hopefully 598 Atlas of that. That's the spring project, so to speak. And then the summer project from roughly April to September or something like that is to do my Shieldlands maps for. I'm going to do Dungeons and D&D in a castle in Newcastle, England in October, and I need to have all the thing prepped for then, and I want to have some big printouts and stuff, because that will be my first in-person game in like 3 years time. So well, GaryCon might give me some in-person gaming too, but there will be running games in person, and I want to be really prepped and well mapped. So that will be a lot of the stuff that my patrons will get and everybody will get afterwards, and there will be the Shieldlands will be well mapped, so to speak, and there will be a bunch of backstories and stuff like that. And there will be a huge sandbox of probably about 2,000 square miles for my players in D&D in a castle to roam over, so to speak.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So my goal is to have like 4 really big poster maps of the whole area, hopefully isometric too, so it can look really, really cool. And because when you go up and your fellow DMs are Satine Phoenix and Ray Winiger and a whole bunch of others, so I have to step up my game here. So to some of the best DMs in the world, I have to try and at least play it a little bit to my strength here. So maps will be the big thing. And the good thing is that my patrons are paying for it, and my patrons in the community will get them all afterwards, so to speak. So all this will be released afterwards. They come with extra heraldry, backstories, and a whole bunch of cool stuff that coming in.
Cool.
So
you know what I'm going to be doing this summer? I have something like 1,000 games to add to my cosmology of role-playing maps.
Oh, yes, that is so cool.
And it will be beautiful. It will be an incredible map.
Yeah.
But it's tedious AF.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh.
I've got something like 600 labels on it right now, and I've got like 1,000 more to go.
Oh my god!
People send you new things every week or something like that on it, or
I've actually got PEX did a huge amount of research, because there are resources out there for games and their release times and so on and so forth. And then various people chiming in, of course. Every time I break out this map, someone always has been a smart ass over it. Like literally, it's one of my most frustrating maps. So I'm working on it privately behind the scenes, because I don't want anyone else to go, yeah, but what about, it's like, you know, when I post about it, seriously, it's social media all over. I post this thing, it's got like 1,000 labels on it. I'll go, I'm only up to the label M right now. And some asshole will say, yeah, but what about Twilight 2000?
Yes, exactly.
I'm like,
yeah.
Did you miss the point where I said I'm only up to M
Yeah.
or what? Every single time I post about it. But that's what I'm That's what I'm going to be working on.
Yeah.
I want to take it to Gamehole Con.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be able to do. I want it complete. I want it in posters
that is so cool.
for Gamehole Con. I think that gives me enough time.
And this fall would be the start of a new era in my Greyhawk mapping and in my mapping in general. And that is to start doing convert the whole thing to GIS, to use geographical information system style. And that will start this summer. I will probably start it when I feel like I'm done and I'm only starting to polish the stuff for Shieldland stuff. So I hopefully somewhere in August I can start the thing in earnest, August, September, because then I need to have everything done in for D&D in a castle. It needs to be done roughly then and sent to the printers and stuff. So that means that then I'll start working on GIS. And I've done some test runs the last 5 years, so I'm starting to understand a little bit what I'm getting into, and thankfully I have some help and stuff. So that will be interesting. But the first goal is to digitize the existing map with all its data. That's goal number one. And the one reason I needed to do Earth, have a basic map model of the planet, was to know where the Flanies is, so to speak, where it's located. And so hopefully we can have, next year is the goal to have the basic map and all its data digitized. That's my goal, to have it next year. And that opens up for a whole bunch of cool stuff after that is done, meaning printed maps, different style maps, and maps in different projections, and a lot of cool stuff, so to speak. So those are my big things. And then there are some other cool little pet projects. One is to dig deeper into heraldry and do banners of various sorts, tabards and stuff like that. Because now I've realized that templates in Photoshop for doing stuff like this works really well, and you have other types of placements. So I want to do flags, banners, tabards, and stuff like that. That's another project. So once I'm done with the heraldry, then it's time to dig into. So I'm collecting information. So if you found some illustrative sources or some text sources of stuff like that, please send them or take notes of them so we can put them into my to-do list, so to speak. And then I want to do milestones. Then another one, these things you found along the way, and that I'm doing a bunch of them for my Shieldlands campaigns that will come to. So I want to do a template so you can scribble in the inscription. So when you go along the road, what kind of the milestone, what it actually looks like, and what it says, and the signs and stuff. So that's kind of really cool. So yeah.
So this is stream 3 of 5. What's going on for the next couple? All right, so let me flip over here. We'll do this real quick. Tomorrow morning, yes, I'm a glutton for punishment. 9 a.m. Eastern, we start, and it's a Crafter Greyhawk All-Star event. I've had mostly everyone has played before, except for the vice president of my mini factory will be playing with us. So yes.
Wow.
Yeah, because of the relationship that the three, great Reaper / Dark Sword 3D sculptor, mini sculptor Christine Van Patten and her husband will be playing in the game. Bones is playing in the game. She got one right up your alley. Another Sylvan Elf friend of Imri's, by the way, Kaliak, another Sylvan Elf. She's a cleric ranger. And then we have Mike Disney, Bill the Master Crafter. We're gonna have a fun game tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. I already tweaked some, showed you some, but of the terrain. But we have this Gamescape 3D piece. Here's the inside of it. That's the inside of the longhouse. Yeah, it's all detailed inside.
Wow.
Yeah, this is all Bill's work. This actually right at the bottom is a fireplace that lights up. It's really cool. So we'll be showing some things here. Oops, there's the outside part. That's it from the outside. So really nice stuff coming. And then we have I'm using this a second time. I used it a couple weeks ago, but it's perfect for this what we're running here. And this is an old ruined church. So yep, got some neat stuff on the table for tomorrow morning. All right, and then Sunday night, Tim, if you're still on, you're in Sunday night, by the way. I don't know if I told you yet, but now I'm telling you. So we're going to talk about developing the antithesis for your campaign in Greyhawk. However small, inconsequential, or major you want. Because an antithesis could be a merchant or a barkeep, or it could be anyone, right? So we're going to talk about that in Greyhawk, and that'll be Sunday night's Gavin show. That'll be a fun discussion. And yeah, you like antithesis, Tim. We'll talk about your antithesis in your campaign as well, of course, and multiples. You can do it for your Greyhawk one, and you can also do it for your City State Invincible Overlord that I play in once in a blue moon. And then go ahead to the next Saturday night special, the Saturday after. We have the Slav Squad back. And that's what so I have a special event every Saturday this month. My wife's going to kick my ass, I'm telling you. So, but this one's a night one, and we're going to have the majority, well, the all-female cast, and Josh and Zarathon, right? As the yes, hoot hoot, the Slav Squad is back, and it'll be next Saturday. And then I'm going to take a look. I'm going to make sure I don't have something every weekend in February, because we do have this. And I'll talk about this real quick. There will be dragons. Oh, Lawful Stupid's coming in. Perfect timing, because Lawful Stupid is on here. They are part of this. As we're talking, what's up? What's up, Jaden team? Good to see you all. So, please sign up for the giveaway, and thanks for hopping in. So, Lawful Stupid is in this. We have 9 streamers plus Greyhawk Reborn taking part in our 4th annual Greyhawk Mega Stream event. Right now, we go Friday, Prayers Rejects. Then Steven Chenault from Troller Games is DMing. Carlos is DMing Friday night. Then Saturday, Wicked Studios in the morning. Lawful Stupid next. Blue Box. And then I finish up Saturday night with Eric Moaning and Anna and crew on Saturday night. And then Sunday morning, we're going to have Tamler's Wife, and we're going to have Wiley Hobbit on Sunday as well. And then Greyhawk Reborn will be doing events. So we have all this great stuff going on. I'm really excited about this, and thank you. Please follow Lawful Stupid. And here's my other. I'm so glad you just rated in at this moment. So Lawful Stupid they're trying to get a regular weekly Greyhawk game going. So they're looking for a DM from the community that would DM on their channel a weekly game at some point. So if you're interested, reach out to me or reach out directly to Lawful Stupid, and we'll talk about, what they're looking for. So they want to get a Greyhawk game running weekly, and they need a DM for it. All right. And they are UK based, but I don't think that matters. So we'd love to see another regular Greyhawk stream going on. But I cannot wait for this. We raised $10,020. Thank you, Larry, and thank you for coming in and following earlier. $10,020 last year during this event. With all the stuff that Larry Elmore gave us, 5 prints Wednesday night. Signed Larry Elmore prints to give away. I have that Greyhawk box set that's sealed from Gamescape. We have all these great giveaways. $200 in giveaways from Reaper, $200 in giveaways from Wiz Dice. We have giveaways galore, and it'll be based on top donor gets to choose their complimentary gift, and we go down just like we did last year. So we're gonna have some really awesome thing. Yeah, it was a wonderful show there to check out the Larry Elmore one that was Wednesday night, and he was fantastic. He talked for 2.5 hours. I mean, Alyssa and I barely had to say anything.
No, that was the easiest show ever. Yeah. It was wonderful just to listen to all the cool stories.
Larry has incredible stories.
And he had a story for every one of his pieces. He had a whole background about it. So we're going to have another one.
He is a great talker,
Yeah, I'm so excited about having him back in the future too, because I said, well, there's a whole bunch of your prints we didn't go over, and he goes, oh, there's a story for each. Just can you remember which ones we did? I said, sure, I'll just keep the folder here. Yeah, so that'll be gone. Thanks, Tino. Thank you for that. So that is what's going on. I'm excited about this. I'll be getting this new banner out. If Anna tweaks it a little bit more, if not, I'll just get it out to you all.
Oh, yeah, this was the version 1. And normally we get to version 5 to 10 before we...
So this will be going out shortly to all the streamers, okay? And note that we'll get that out to you all and for the fundraiser. So 9 streams, 9 total streams, and plus Greyhawk Reborn playing as well. All right, so 2 $50 gift certificates to our show sponsor, Frog God, right now. So last call to sign up, ! Drawing. If you haven't already, I'm going to give these out. And then Lawful Stupid, perfect timing. I think if you're all right, I think we're going to raid into a Dragonlance game going on right now because Will's playing. Will's DMing.
Cool.
Giant Stop. Yeah. William Henry Dvorak does a lot for the community, and he's going to be starting up his Greyhawk stream again shortly. He's in the fundraiser, so let's hit that up. Yeah. And he does a good job with it, and he's writing all this 5e content. He's writing Rangers now. He did all the Warlocks. He did all the Warlocks and the Paladins already. So,
yeah.
Alrighty. All right.
Thank you everyone in chat who came here, and thank you for all the
Troy, Parentland's about to end though. That's the thing. That's why I want to go into Parentland. He's about to end shortly, and that's why I'm not going to do Parentland. He's going to end any minute now, right? So he finishes up at right now. I thought he ran till 10. He'll be done, and that's why I wasn't going to run into Parentland tonight. Yeah, and Will's going to be on another 2 hours. So that was my reasoning behind that. So, yep. All right. Here we go. Last call. Yeah, it was great. It was a great stream.
Yeah.
Another
Thank
great
you.
discussion.
Thank you,
Every one of these
everyone.
is fantastic.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now, hopefully, I don't break things, because you know me, I always do break something. Closing entries. And just remember, we have at least 2 giveaways of dice tomorrow morning from Wiz Dice as well. Some really cool things. Here we go. Here comes the winner. First winner. $50. I will give it to you in Discord or via email. Okay. Zump.
Oh,
the Zump. I know. Oh, I have Zumps.
Such an awesome handle. I love that.
Zumps on. All right. Zumps one winner. Zumps in. You got it, Zump. Second winner. Second winner. Lowry, here's your Discords. Canonfire Discord, great discussions there, and Virtual Greyhawk Con Discord, which gets used for special events. We got a lot of other things going on that one for cons and other things going on. Next winner. All right, and welcome to the community, everyone. Nagul. Congrats, Nagul. Nagul is always one of the first people on who says hello when the stream starts, and he's on. I see him in chat as well. So we got the 2 winners.
He's still out there?
Yeah, he's out there. I see him in chat, so he's there definitely. And he's a subscriber, and if he's lurking, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's one of those first people on, and he's in the chat all the way down. Yep. All right, so we're gonna.
I don't want to influence you guys, but Necropolis or Teagle Manor, they have the best maps ever.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's awesome.
I'm going to dump all my links if people want to see more to my website and
yes, please.
My Patreon and to my YouTube is there, but I will start streaming on Twitch very soon. So
I don't know if that Humble Bundle's up either. Yeah.
Yeah, and to the Notion site if you want to find all the Greyhawk content. So
if you want to find the Greyhawk content, you just click on the Greyhawk Creators team. Okay, everyone's in there. So if you ever see what Greyhawk content plus crafters, the associated crafters we have. So Alyssa, I should probably put you into that group. Anna's in that group. Are you a member of a stream team on Twitch? Are you streaming Twitch, or are you just doing YouTube now?
No, I am not streaming Twitch anymore.
If you do, we'll get you in on that team. And hopefully we'll get in Lawful Stupid in shortly too when they start getting a regular weekly. That's why I asked for a minimum of a regular weekly Greyhawk stream. So the Humble Bundler's over. I'm sorry. It went on last month, Patty. My apologies. I didn't take it off the shout out. That's my bad. And there's Laren. Laren, we talked to, if you weren't on earlier, we talked to Alyssa, and she's going to, we're going to get you in touch with her, Fantasy Grounds Academy. All right, let's raid into Will.
Yep.
And I will talk to Sean at Parentland and see what time he runs to on Fridays normally, and then if he's going to be on later, then maybe we'll do next month. We'll raid into Sean. All right, just to make it say, oh, thank you, Lawful. Thanks, Jay. Really appreciate it. See you all tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for a really cool old school adventure in Greyhawk, and maybe I'll kill everyone this time. Nah, we'll see. Jay's gonna hit the wrong button. See you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Thanks, Alyssa. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow morning, Bones. Get a good night's sleep after this. Because I'm crashing. I'm not taking my equipment downstairs till tomorrow morning. And thank you all for the wonderful support. We are cranky. good. 87, 88, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit Will with some love, all right? Because he's a great, long-term Greyhawker. Talk to you soon. See you tomorrow. All right, let me make sure that went in.
Yep.
It did.
Yep. 89. Good. Good numbers.
That's the way.
All right, awesome. Thank you both for another wonderful show.
Yeah, I think it was not too bad. We were